Well, ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? My internet is actually quite terrible, so I don't know whether I'll be disconnected or not. But what I will say is this. That was a frustrating game. It wasn't a poor performance per se. It was actually a frustrating game because it wasn't a poor performance. If we played poor, I could have been furious, but because we actually played relatively well, but we were just wasteful. I'm like, who am I supposed to complain to? Like, who am I supposed to complain to? Because the team did relatively well. The team didn't play too poorly. It was mostly that we just didn't score, and that's the frustrating part, honestly. But as I said, my internet is bad. I don't actually know whether it's lagging or not. Hopefully, it's not. Because I'm kind of like rooting through my phone, so I don't know if my internet is good. Someone let me know whether like it's stuttering or lagging or something. I can't change it. I'm being completely honest. But I'll be talking for a bit here, and then I'll let people come in if they want to come in and say their piece. But this game is frustrating because we actually outplayed PSG, and that's the annoying part. We actually outplayed PSG. They were clinical. We weren't. They were honestly their front two predominantly was good. Ours was okay. Sai was extremely poor. I don't know why Goretzka went off. Like I hope we get some. I hope we get some information about Goretzka. I hope he's not injured, because for me that was a bad substitution. Goretzka going off with a potential injury is, if that's the case, then okay, I understand. If he isn't injured, then to me that's a bad substitution, because Goretzka, say what you want, but he scores goals. He scores goals, and that's the key thing here. Whereas a whole rest of the team, you saw how little there was. Sané was poor. Coleman won a lot of the time against his man. He won a lot of the time against his defender, but he didn't really. The final pass was lacking. It was one of those. The final pass was lacking. Yeah, it's frustrating, honestly. It's honestly quite frustrating. I'm not furious. Yeah, in the past this season, I mean, I've probably been the most critical Bayern fan there has been. But in the past, I've been more furious than this, more critical about the team than this, and I can't really be that right now because I feel like we've actually played well. I actually feel like we've played well, so I can't really be like, we didn't play well. No, we actually showed up. We just attack didn't. Our attack just didn't. That's the frustrating part. It's not that the whole team actually. Some may say our defense didn't show up. I can understand that, but like if you actually think about the amount of chances that PSG had, they didn't have that many. They didn't have that many. Like compared to say us, for example, they didn't have that many chances. They were just clinical. They were just clinical. Kind of stuttering. That's frustrating. Nothing I can do about it. Like I said, my internet is terrible because. A lot of issues, but my internet is terrible, right? If it's stuttering, I apologize, but hopefully the audio is fine. So let's get to some comments that you lot said. What I will say though as well before I start reading some of the comments and responding to some of them is that I'm not that worried about this tie in itself. I very much think that I very much think this tie will win this tie. So I think we're gonna. If we played like today, I think we're going to score 4 to 5 goals in the second leg. Now, it's more so about whether we can keep them out. And honestly, I think we will. I'm very confident about this game. I'm very confident about this tie. I've said this from like the get-go. I'm very confident about this tie. Because for me, I went into this tie expecting us to dominate this game and to score a lot of goals. And we dominated the game in the attacking phase, but we didn't score the goals. Now, I fully expect the same thing to happen in the second tie. And if that's the case, I fully expect us to actually score. And that's kind of the important thing. Like if we get those goals, this tie, like if we scored even just not even half a chance, but if you score like the clear-cut chances that we've had, we would have been 5-6 ahead, and then nobody would have like talked about our defense. But because we didn't score, that's the issue. Now our defense, I've been talking about our defense for all season, right? I've been very critical about our defense, and people have constantly told me. People have constantly. It's kind of frustrating because I've been not just the only person, but like the minority of people have been very critical about the defense. I'm obviously one of the key people that has been critical, and people are saying, well, matter. Our defense, it doesn't matter. We're winning the games, right? So who cares about our defense? Now, today, I will actually say our defense wasn't bad. It sounds ridiculous. We conceded 3 goals, but I wouldn't say our defense was bad. I would say we gave them we gave them good chances, but I didn't think we were bad defensively. There is a difference. Like, defensively bad just means that, like, you know, every time they get the ball, they bypass our defense, which I didn't think was the case. But when they bypass our defense, they just open, and that's the big thing. Like, they got clear-cut chances, which is the frustrating part. Second, this is halftime. I'm not too worried, if I'm being completely honest. This is halftime. Hopefully the boys will practice some shooting in training, and then everything will be. That's the way I look at it. Like, if we turn up like this in a second leg, I'm actually not worried at the slightest. Now, of course, that's a big if, but 3-2 is yes, they got 3 away goals. Okay, cool, but there is no reason why we can't, you know, score 4 or 5 in a second leg. So I'm not that worried, if I'm being completely honest. Now let's get to some comments, and then I'll open this up so people can join if they want, because clearly my internet is not working that great. Clearly my internet is not working that great. First question: did I think that was a handball? If I'm being completely honest, yes. Especially with the new rule, it very much. I think so. Someone on Twitter says, I can't remember who it was, but somebody on Twitter said that that the handball very much was similar to the Alaba situation from 2012 against Real Madrid. The thing with that is that it's very, very similar to the Alaba situation from 2012, but since then they've changed the rules. They've changed the rules where, like, especially like parts like these, like handballs like these are given. Like, if you touch the ball, it doesn't matter even if it's like accidental, as long as it's in an unnatural position, and as long as it's below the sleeve. I think it's a short. It's a sleeve. As long as it's below the sleeve, you know, that's it. Also, I definitely think that should have been a handball. But oh well, it is what it is. I'm not. Yes, okay, for a 3-3 would have been better, but again, not that. I'm not that worried, if I'm being completely honest about this tie. They were clinical. We weren't. Absolutely agree with you there. Absolutely agree with you there. It's kind of stuttering. I apologize about that. I really do. Internet is gutter trash. Oh, lol, yo, losers. You deserve that one. You deserve that one for today. But as I said, the second tie is still happening. How do you think we'll change our tactics next? I don't think we'll. Yeah, okay. Here's the interesting thing, right? And I actually kind of want to see what Flick says, because Goretzka came off, and then we played with a back 3 when Alaba moved into midfield, and I was thinking, like, why? I was trying to understand. Like, I was trying to think whether that might have been tactical or whether that might have been an injury to Goretzka, because Goretzka, for that one chance that he had, that honestly that he should have scored, he clashed into Navas. Also, Navas fantastic game today, but he clashed into Navas, so I don't know whether he got injured by that. And that's why it was taken off. But we switched to a back 3, and I would say honestly, we looked better. We looked we looked stronger, you know, because again, we were putting them on the back foot. We were attacking constantly. You can't say that the team didn't try to win today. That's not the case. It's just that they were not clinical. But, like, you know, I don't think that was necessarily a tactical decision in the vein of this is what the plan was. I don't think that's the case. I think it must have been an injury situation. But I'm actually intrigued now. I'm actually intrigued now, because I don't think we'll play with a back 3. I'm going to be honest, because yes, we have a lot of defenders right now, but all right, look, we'll talk about this in a separate video. I'll get into like the positives and negatives of, you know, change a back 3, but I don't think that's going to happen, just because we're so used to the 4-2-3-1, and Flick hasn't really changed that much, you know, in terms of tactics. I don't think we're going to continue with a back 3 for as long as our clinical finishers, such as Gnabry and such as Lewandowski, I don't think that's going to be the case. But I'm actually quite intrigued if we might go forward with this. Now, I also don't think Flick will stay beyond the season. For anyone that has seen his interview at the beginning of the game, where essentially, like, Lewandowski, he was asked by like a commentator, because Lewandowski said a comment that he very much wants to continue working with Flick. Flick was very kind words, and then the commentator asked, you know, can you assure him that you're going to stay and keep working with him beyond the season? Flick was like, I have no comment. So I don't think he's necessarily going to stay, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, Lewandowski made you lack clinical attack. It wasn't just Lewandowski. like without Lewandowski, I still expected us to dominate this game, which we did, granted. But like when I say like in terms of score goals, I think Gnabry was a bigger miss. Gnabry, he gets the ball and he shoots. And then when Goretzka, so when basically when Lewandowski went out, I expected Choupo-Moting and Gnabry to perform in terms of like scoring the goals. Choupo-Moting, he scored a goal. Okay, cool. I didn't think he had a bad game. I didn't think he had I didn't think he had a bad game today, but he should have scored more. But then when Gnabry went out, I was like, no, too Goretzka. I know Goretzka is even more pivotal to this game. And then when Goretzka came off in like the first half, I was like, what the heck is going on? What the heck is going on? So that was quite frustrating. Now, again, if Goretzka is fit for the second game, I think it's going to be a very different game. But we'll see. Again, I don't have the news yet on Goretzka, so I can't say anything on that yet. Do you think Lewandowski will play? Absolutely not. Out for 4 weeks, so there's no chance. Sané dropped a stinker. Absolutely, friend. Absolutely. Sané dropped that was a poor game from him. But I'm hoping it's a one-off. I'm hoping it's a one-off because usually the thing that I like about him is that he drives the ball forward. And that's that, like, he gets the ball and very similar to like Serge Gnabry, where he gets the ball and he tries to score. He's kind of stealthy in that manner. I don't think he said a shot on goal this game. He was like just trying to create, which is kind of frustrating because like usually I can understand when you're just trying to create, you've got Lewandowski up front, but you don't. So you shoot. Like that's my main thing. Shoot. We played really well, but just weren't clinical enough in front of goal. But we're still this. Very my faults as well. I can't fault our performance at all. I think our performance there was very, very good. Just not clinical. That's what it was. 8-3, remember that? Absolutely. They've got their 3 goals. We've got our 2. The second leg to play. 6 goals. Sounds possible. Sounds doable. Just wait. That's a comment that you really should be putting after the tie is over. This is half time. Like, calm yourself, all right? Müller and Lewandowski's chemistry was very much misturned. It wasn't just a chemistry. It was just being clinical. That's really what it was. You know, Lewandowski misses a lot of chances because of his movement and because of his involvement, and because, you know, how much he drives those goals. Very much different to Choupo-Moting. Like Choupo-Moting, I feel like almost wants to be a connecting part. Like, you know, a 1-2, whereas Lewandowski is more like, okay, give me the ball, I'm gonna take it and go to goal, which means that he has a lot of harder chances, but he also has a lot more chances because he just wants to get those goals. He's selfish. With Gnabry, who is also very, very selfish. So we thought we missed more so than their connection. What are my thoughts on Choupo-Moting? As I said, I don't think he had a bad game. He definitely could have scored more. Probably should have scored more. But I didn't think he had a bad game. Just not clinical enough. But like his overall involvement was good. It was just him not being clinical enough. Musiala could have been used for the last. I think he should have been honestly used from like 60th minute on. Honestly, I think he should have been used from 60th minute on. I think Musiala should have come on for Sané. Sané was poor today, and it happens, yes, but he was poor today. Musiala has shown that he can be, you know, in these big games, he can be relied upon. So for me, Musiala should have come on, or you put Musiala, or you put Javi on for Sané, and then move Davis further forward. Then move Davis to the wing alongside Coman. Something like that is what one of those is what I would have considered. At times it was like we wanted to pass the ball. Yeah. That's why Goretzka would have been key in this game, because he has just a one-track mind, and that's to shoot. Like even Alaba had like 4 shots in this game, and it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous, but it is what it is. What happened to Sané? Shake my head. It was one game. He usually performs well. It's one game. It is what it is. Like I'm not gonna complain too much about his season. He had a very good start to the season, and then he had a poor stretch in the season, and then, you know, he's actually been relatively good lately, but it's just this game. It's a one-off game. Again, it's a 2-legged tie, luckily, so we'll see what happens next. Showtime. Now, that's what I'll say to this. Showtime. How did we lose? Well, we didn't score, and they did. It's simple. We didn't score, and they did. Damn, there are so many. I need to. Oh my goodness, there are a lot of comments Wow. Okay. Cool. Let's try and rush through some of these then. We have to win by 2 in the second game unless it's 4-3. I mean, look, again, as I said, if we could play like we did today and actually put our shooting boots on, I'm not worried. The annoying part, and I'm not blaming it on the snow, but the annoying part is that I love snow, right? I love snow. I used to love playing in snow. I used to love, I just love snow in general because I'm born in winter. So I have a natural affinity to snow. But our 2 worst performances of the season, or 2 most crucial performances that decided us being potentially out of a competition. Now, we're not in competition yet, but the 2 performances that that are distinct in my mind from this season. Obviously, this game now and the one against Kiel, and both of them were in snowy weather. I'm like, damn it. I like snow. Don't ruin the image of snow. 30 attempts on goal, only 2 goals though. That's the key part at the end of the day, only 2 goals. No, honestly, if we look at this objectively, which I always do, I always try and be as objective as possible. I know I'm a Bayern fan, right? But I always try and be unbiased when I make when I make takes, when I try and analyze things. I always try and be as unbiased as possible. They are favorites. Before this game, they weren't favorites, but after this game with the 3 away goals, absolutely they're favorites. But I don't think they're like. I know you're right in slight favorites. I would agree with that just slightly, but I honestly, it's frustrating. It's frustrating because I know we're gonna go there and we're gonna perform. I'm not worried about that. I know performance-wise we're gonna go there and we're gonna get a chance and we're gonna perform. It's about scoring now, and I need to see. I like if I know that Goretzka is fit, I'm fairly confident. If I know that Goretzka is not fit, that's when I start getting worried. We have to shut them out in the second leg. Again, I didn't think we were bad defensively today. We had poor. We gave them good chances, but I don't think we were bad defensively necessarily. I jinxed my team. There is no such thing as jinx. People need to stop this nonsense. All right, there is no such thing as jinxes. All right, look, this game. I know everyone's like. I know people are gonna come in here, PSG fans and whatnot. That are gonna say, "Well, look at you." But this game is not over. Well, this game is over. The tie is not over. All right. So there is no such thing as jinxes. Me saying that we'd win this tie over 8-3. I did say 7-1 for this game. I also said 5-2, honestly. I said both. I expect us to win 5-2. I think we're going to win 7-1 because that's kind of like, there's a reason for that. There's a reason to my madness, all right? But this tie is not over. Overall, I also said 8-3. So we can still get our 6 goals, and if we keep them out, debatable whether we can, but the tie is not over. You were hella cocky. I'm not cocky. I wouldn't say I'm cocky. I know people think that I'm being cocky, but I'm not. In the past, I've said that we'd lose. In the past, I've said that we win. I give scores based on me analyzing teams, and that's what it boils down to. Now, granted, you can analyze teams and you can be completely wrong. That's a complete normal thing to happen. But I don't think I'm necessarily cocky. This season, actually, I've been the furthest thing from cocky. I've said in a previous, even in a video, in a discussion, I've said that we weren't going to win the Champions League. So I'm not expecting us to win the Champions League this season because, granted, I said it for a stupid reason, but I still believe it. Like, the reason why I said that we weren't going to win the Champions League this season was because we don't have a Croatian player in our team. And since like 2010, every team that's won the Champions League has had a Croatian player in their team. So that's why I didn't think we were going to win it this season. It's a stupid thing, but there are things in football that don't make sense. Like this. The whole fall, if you touch the Champions League trophy before the final is played, you lose. You lose the final. It just happens. Every time someone did it, they lost. So I didn't think we were going to win the Champions League because of because we don't have a Croatian in our team. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to analyze this game and be like, oh, we're not going to. Because I expected us to win. It's very much that's very much the case. Like, if I think that we're going to win, if I think we're going to dominate, I'll say it. If I don't think so, I'll say that as well. It's really that simple. I say what I think, and I think what I say, and I'm not going to censor myself because of that. Very simple. Very simple. There are so many comments. I'm like so far behind. It's actually crazy. I'm sorry if I can't get to everyone's comments. I'm sorry, but there are just so many. I like this one. Chuba did his job already. I don't think we could expect more of him. Where was Sonny? Again, I think Chuba did a good. Honestly, I think he did well. He wasn't amazing. He wasn't bad, but he did well. What a game to watch. Absolutely. It was a fun game. It was frustrating, but it was a fun game. It was a frustrating game because when you see so many chances, it's just like, wow, come on. It's just ridiculous. But like, it was a fun game to watch, but it was equally frustrating, and that's kind of the annoying part. Yeah, for me, honestly, easily, very easily, the man of the match. Simple. Simple. Like, I'm gonna be honest, right? If they didn't have Navas, I think this tie would be over. I really think the tie should be over if we were more clinical, but Navas has a big part to play in that. Navas came up big, and that's the case. Amazing performance from him. 8-3 in aggregate, lol. NASA, trust. It's gonna happen. You said 7-2, we're going out. Technically, I said 7-1. Let's at least get it right, all right? I said 7-1, and then at halftime, I said 7-2, just because it's Pochettino, and we've beaten his Tottenham 7-2. Now, here's the thing as well, though. Okay, cool. I was wrong. So what? They're leading by 3 goals. Well, they're not leading by 3 goals. They're leading 3-2. So what? We'll score 4-5 in a second game in their place, so coolio. Cheerio. The game, it's right now, we're at 45 minutes. The game is over, so I'm not that worried. Adam Talk Sport, hello to you too. Boateng was, I disagree. I very much disagree. I think Boateng shut everything down when he came on. Actually, I was having this debate with somebody, not a debate, but this conversation with somebody, that Boateng, when he came on, he looked absolutely amazing. And it's very telling that, like, someone like him, obviously, before the game came out, there was this news that Boateng is leaving club. The club officially announced it, that, like, we're not going to give him a contract extension. I thought he was very good. He looked bad on that one goal that Mbappe scored, but I thought besides that goal, I'm looking at the game as a whole, obviously, not just with the moment aspect of it. But I thought he actually looked very, very solid for that whole game. I thought he was excellent, actually. Should have signed Dest. No. Look, people say that. Dest is not that good. Yes, he's decent attacking-wise, but he's not that good. We play with an asymmetrical system. And with an asymmetrical system, you need, obviously, one fullback that is very good attacking-wise and one fullback that's very good defensively. Now, typically, we have the fullback that's very good offensively, being Davis, and the fullback that's very good defensively, being Pavard. You can very much see that today in our game, where when we started the game, it was very much Pavard who was the more offensive one, and Lucas Hernandez being very much the defensive one. And Pavard got the assist for Boateng's goal. But then once we did this switch with Goretzka coming off and Davis on, then we switched it all, and Pavard was a lot more defensive, and then obviously Davis went on the more offensive, and that's kind of, we play with this asymmetrical system, and I very much like the asymmetrical system. And it also tells you how Pavard was able to switch it quite well from being the more offensive one to the more defensive one. Now Dest, he's purely offensive, he's not really defensive, so I wouldn't like that, because then we lose a little bit of flexibility, and that's what Pavard hasn't had a great season, but he offers us that flexibility, which I quite like, if I'm being completely honest. Let's have more comments. How do you think we'll play? My goodness, can I reduce? Can I make that comment any lower? How do you think we'll play with no Levy or Gnabry again? And we could have won it better defending the finisher. PSG didn't play that well as well. Yeah. How do you think we'll play with no Levy again? I'm gonna have to quick look, actually, because I think by now the reports would have been out. I'm worried about Goretzka. If Goretzka is fit, I'm not worried. And that's the key part. I'm not worried if Goretzka is fit. But so far, nothing about Goretzka. So I can't say anything. Yeah, so if Goretzka is fit, I'm not worried. If he's not, then I think the issue, because he scores. And you can't say that about all the players on the team. The players that you can say that about are Sané and Müller. Müller scored. Sané had a stinker. So Goretzka is one of those as well. So I kind of need that. I kind of need that, right? I kind of need Goretzka to be healthy, hopefully, for his substitution not to be an injury substitution. Guys, because when is this over? This game is over, sure. The tie is not even close to being over. I disagree. I know where you're getting at. The first goal was lucky for PSG. I know what you're getting at, but I disagree. There is no such. All right, there are things in football that are luck, all right? But at the end of the day, it comes down to, can you put the ball into the net and can you not? And he did. Neuer, bad mistake. He anticipated the ball to go to his right. Mbappe scuffed his shot, which is actually frustrating because he scuffed his shot, which meant that it went in. Like if he had actually, if he hit the ball to that, wouldn't have gone in because Neuer anticipated him to go, wide. But you could say maybe that was lucky, but then again, the snow was falling, so him scuffing the shot maybe had to do with there being snow and the ball being slippery. So it is what it is. Like football, there is no such thing as luck in football. There is either you do it or you don't. You either perform or you don't. You either score or you don't. You either have more goals than the opponent or you don't. So that's the case. That's just the case. That's just the way it is. Yeah, we do. We do. We have a very entertaining and very interesting game coming up. I'm not sure what you're trying to say with that, honestly. There will be NE on the next game, stupid idiot. Not sure. Again, I'm not sure what you're trying to say with this. I'm sorry. We will be out. No, you won't. Also, even a Bayern flag, mate. But calm yourself. Calm yourself. They weren't lucky. They were clinical. Absolutely. Very much agree. They deserved it. Don't be bad losers. I think you mean losers, not lovers. It hurts to say it, but we weren't the better team tonight. You miss chances, you lose. Look, that's the thing, right? I think we were the better team, but we weren't the more rewarded team. We weren't the more clinical team. That's exactly what it boils down to. It is what it is. It happens. Another day when we take our chances, we'll be clear, and that'll be that. But they were clinical, well deserved. They win this game, well deserved. Because at the end of the day, goals mattered in these games, and that's exactly what they had. We didn't. It's just the way it is. No, they will both miss it. It's just that probably they will both miss it. Lewandowski's out for 4 weeks, and Gnabry has tested positive for COVID, so he'll be out for 2 weeks, which means that he'll miss it. This is for me. This part. This is the big part. If Goretzka is fit, I'm not worried. If he is out, then I'm starting to get worried. That's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. Okay, I've got a missed call, in fact. Why are they calling me? I don't know. But yeah, I very much agree with that. We concede early enough too often, and then we kind of have to find and claw our way back. But we're used to it. Which is actually, it sounds stupid, right? Hear me out. Right? Hear me out. It sounds stupid, but I'm actually. The team is a lot more resilient because of that. The team is a lot more resilient because of the fact that we usually concede goals. So they know that they can come back. They know they can come back at any time. To me, that's a positive. It sounds ridiculous that that's a positive. Conceding goals is a positive. No, but to me, the attitude that we've had this season, and I think we're critical about defending this season. But the one thing that you can say is that we've learned from that, and we are now able to make these combat victories a lot more often than we would have if we were just always leading. All right, you. Ooh. That's actually a good shout. That's a very good shout. My goodness, very good shout. It just felt like Atletico is, yeah. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, very much so. Very much so. So we've got two conflicting things here. Ship Alaba to Madrid ASAP, and Alaba wasn't bad. Alaba, every time there is a game that we lose, every time there is a game that we concede, Alaba always seems to be the scapegoat. And I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I mean, completely, I don't like it. I don't like when Alaba has been made the scapegoat. Yes, all right, cool. It wasn't bad in this game either. Like there's always a discussion with Alaba because obviously he's leaving, but he wasn't bad in this game. He could have scored. He honestly should have scored. Honestly, if we're completely honest, like, you could say half the team. You could say that, like you could say that about Müller. Müller should have scored 2. You could say that about Choupo-Moting. Choupo-Moting should have scored 2. They scored a goal. I don't know if their goal's still in this, you know. So I'm not gonna complain too much. Not yet. Not yet. Perfect champions, bro. You need to calm down, all right? You need to calm down. Look, it's halftime. Yes, we conceded 3 goals. It's ridiculous. It's poor, right? It's not ridiculous. It's poor. But keep in mind how we played. Yeah, even if the score is against us, keep in mind how we played. And that is a very simple fact that, you know, we actually performed. We weren't clinical, but we actually performed. Now, if we can do this again, I'm very confident we'll score. Because there's no way we're gonna have, like, you know, 30 odd chances and only score 2 goals again. This is a one-off. And it's, you know what, fair enough. Fair enough. But I wouldn't write us off just yet. Never write us off. That's the one thing you should learn. You should have learned that from my favorite game of all time. My favorite of all time, actually, and that was the Porto game. You should have learned that from that game. Oh, I love that game. I love that so much. Where we lost 3-1 in the first leg and then beat them 6-1. Ooh! Oh, that was a beautiful game. I talk about that game so often because it has my favorite goal of all time. The Lam to Müller. The Thiago was the pass to Lam, then to Müller, like awkwardly to Lewandowski, and Lewandowski just heads it in. Just the best team goal I've ever seen in my life, and I stand by that to say there are best team goals, but that's still the best. The best. I know she was terrible. Yes, as I said, I very much agree with you. 31 shots on goal. Only on goal. Are you sure? Is it not just in general? I think you might have gotten that confused, if I'm completely honest. Bayern can come. Of course it can. Of course we can. This is not the worst that we've been down. Noch nie was sowas Unverdientes gesehen. I mean, Nico, football. It's very much like as someone so eloquently put earlier, it's very much like the Atletico Madrid 2016 game where, you know, we had a lot of chances, we had a lot of shots, we just couldn't score. And that's just the way it is with football sometimes. It is what it is. Football is a game of fine margins, and sometimes those fine margins are in your favor, sometimes they're not. Usually, you know, you make them in your favor by having more chances. This time we had plenty, honestly. And usually, you know, if you have 100 chances, you score. Atletico Madrid, we didn't. In this game, didn't. They did. Okay, cool. There's a second leg to play. Luckily, it's not a final. If this was a final, oh, I would have been crushed. This would have had Chelsea, but it's not. It's not. It is what it is. It is what it is. 31 shots on goal, 2 goals. That's like a 3% conversion rate. That's atrocious. I don't know how we're gonna come back unless we fix that in the offense. Okay. Look, I'm gonna add a few of you lot in this chat. If you want to join, let me know. Message me on Twitter, or direct message me on Twitter, and I'll send you the link. Because again, I'm very adamant that oh, that's not 3%, is it? That's not. I'm very adamant that our defense was actually good. I just think that we gave them great chances, and they took those chances. But I think overall our defense wasn't bad. But I want to hear what people have to say about that, because that's what you know. If you want to be on here, if you want to talk your talk, then direct message me or something, and I'll send you the link. But like I very much think that like we weren't bad defensively. Like we weren't bad, because for me, what you know constitutes being bad defensively means that you give them some very, very good chances. You give them a lot of chances. We gave them good chances, but we didn't give them a lot of chances, and that's the key aspect for me. So I don't know whether I would consider whether I would call ourselves bad defensively. I actually think we shut them down relatively well. Is that when we did, we scored. We're losing 3-3 aggregate. I don't think so. Core football, you change your name so often, bro. You change your name so often. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Oh my goodness. I scrolled down for 1 second. There's like 30 more comments. Okay, bro. can't keep up anymore. I can't keep up anymore. Okay, this is a lot. A lot. I always like reading a comment from Shishko. I haven't read what you said yet, but I always like reading a comment from you, just because I know you've been on this channel for a very long time. I think so, like 2 so. PSG was pretty weak today. They played better in last year's final. We need used to chances and we're free. I actually think they did play better in the last final. Well, in the final that we had, but they were more clinical today, which is the fun part of football. You know, you can always be worse or better, and if you score, then you score, and that's the way. All right, you. We'll have to check the game for the first time since 2019 and first home loss in a year. All right. I mean, yeah. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, look, I'm gonna, because there are so many comments that I can't get, actually highlight them, and I'm sorry that that's just the case. Let me just have a quick look on Twitter and see if anyone's messaged me about coming on. Core Football, I had a feeling you want to come on. Let me send you an invite. There we go. If anyone else wants to come on, again, just send me a... Can I come a link? Yes, you can. You very much can. And if some of you are PSG fans, you're very much invited to come on as well. Yeah, okay. I think that's about it. I've got so many like Twitter notifications that Twitter direct messages that I don't usually check. My goodness, I need to start checking them. I don't. All right. How much did they pay Neuer? You should be ashamed if you are a Bayern fan. What? What? My goodness. Let me forget some headphones, and then let's hear from some of the other people in that have now joined us and see what their thoughts are. Actually, quite much on my right is sort of death moment. All right, so let's invite those lovely folks to the stream. Hello. And let's have some more people. Hello, everyone. How you all doing?
I'm good, Prince. I hope you're doing
good,
well.
Bro. I'm good. I'm talking from work, so if you can't hear me, please. I'm sorry, right?
No, we can hear you. We can hear you fine.
Okay.
We can hear you fine, mate. I want to go to Houston first and just ask what did you think about the game? What's your overall impression of it?
Simple, we didn't take our chances. It's really just that. We didn't take our chances. We had Choupo-Moting. I'm happy he scored a goal, obviously. Why not? But he still missed many of his chances. We had Coman, we had Sané, who could have done better in this match. I feel like they were a bit wasteful with their dribbling, with their passing. Our midfield was not too bad. Joshua Kimmich, he created a lot of chances, but of course, those were not enough to seal the game. The finishing was just poor. But I think it's just our finishing and our defense. It was not good. I've been very critical of Alaba. He did not do great today. And I think Schurrle, he did not do good either. I think, for example, when PSG scored their second goal, Marquinhos, it's one of those things. First goal when they scored Schurrle, it was like, regardless, he can't play the offside trap, and I think that's one of the issues that we've experienced through this season, that he cannot play the offside trap, and that's why we're conceding these goals. Alaba as well, he's just always out of his position. We know why he's playing in the first place. It's because he's a very good distributor of the ball and he's very quick, but his positioning is not good for a defender, and that's why we conceded. Lucas Hernandez, he was okay to me, but the thing with another thing with our defense is we have Alphonso Davies. I know that the reason why he probably didn't start was because he was the backup winger option, but the way we were playing, the way PSG were playing as a counter-attacking team, we needed someone with his pace. Alphonso Davies would have been very good if he started the match. But our best defender overall was Pavard. This was one of his better performances, which is very good. But yeah, I mean, simple as our defense was not good. and our finishing was just not great. We can see what we're missing when we don't have Lewandowski, when we don't have Gnabry on the wings as well. And yeah, man, I just hope we can give a good fight. We can win the next leg. It's going to be very difficult. I'm not sure what the situation will be with PSG's players, with like Verratti and Icardi, if he might play as well. We don't know. I mean, they might not need him, but yeah, Mbappe is just very good, very clinical. He showed why he is the best talent there is right now. Because it's just, the first goal you can argue that, that was a Manuel Neuer mistake. But again, he rinsed our defense. It was just very bad. It was just very poor from our defense. But, take his chances well. That's all that matters, really. If you can take your chances well, then you'll get the results. And that's what our team did not do. That's what Mbappe did, though. Second goal, again, that was poor defending as well. Second goal from Mbappe. But yeah, man, our defending, it's just being repetitive. But I think we all know that our defense has been lacking. But to see the way it was today, because we did much better defensively in the final than we did today, and that was just really bad. But yeah, I just hope we can do just much better next week, but we'll see what happens. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Next up, core football. When you're a Dortmund fan and now you're suddenly a Bayern fan, that's all I'm gonna ask first. But yeah, what do you think about this game?
Yeah. I mean, we got to be real. I mean, Bundesliga, Bayern will always be conquering Bundesliga. That's guaranteed. So, I mean, there's no other team who's gonna be, not Leipzig or Dortmund. You can't trust on those guys. But yeah. So yeah, I think the problem here is that Gnabry not being there, I think, is a huge miss, to be honest. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Now, again, I know a lot of people say that if Lewandowski was playing, we probably would have scored 2 more, which I kind of agree. But we all have to understand, and I think we have to give credit to a player like Thomas Mueller. I'm a huge Mueller fanboy, and I just don't know why people don't give him credit. Today it was so obvious, that last goal, heading goal, you could see how he was pushing the team, even when all the other teammates that were playing really bad. Kimmich couldn't even score, bro. Like, Kimmich, Goretzka, they couldn't even score. But this Mueller guy stepped up to the plate and kept this tie alive. And then our defense, again, Bayernfantv is. I don't know if my problem is, like, I know we brought up a Upamecano for next season, but is he an upgrade to Jerome Boateng or Alaba? Like, I don't know if I can say that. You know what I'm trying to say? Because I think the best defender in RB Leipzig, for me personally, was Konate. I think Konate has been like the best defender in big games for RB Leipzig, and even in certain games for them. But if we got Upamecano, okay, it kind of makes a little bit of sense. But I just don't know if he is that kind of like to like replacement for Jerome Boateng. I also think that we really shot ourselves in the foot not playing Alphonso Davies. Like Hussein was saying, man, it's very, very, very bad how Flick came into this game thinking Lucas Hernandez can play fullback for us. He doesn't give you anything. Attacking output is poor. His crosses is poor. Like, I just don't know how you play Lucas Hernandez and expect to win this game. It just doesn't work that way. I think we're gonna. I'm sorry, Bayernfantv, but I'm gonna be honest here. We're losing this tie. And I think it's gonna be 3-3 aggregate. I think it's gonna be 1-0 PSG going to the next leg. Very, very poor. And I just feel like not having Lewandowski, not having Gnabry, especially, I think that's a huge, huge miss coming into the game. But yeah, and start Alphonso Davies. Really start him. Like, it was really poor. It was really, really poor. And I knew that, like, the thing Bayernfantv is, I knew when he started Lucas, I was like, this guy gives you nothing in attack. So why play him? You know what I'm trying to say? Because PSG was playing Colin Dagba, who is a young defender. He isn't that good. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie, he isn't that good. But if Alphonso Davies really was playing that game, he could be attacking the flanks and so forth. He should have moved Coman to the right. I think Coman would have made a lot more of a difference there too. And again, the Choupo-Moting thing. Okay, he showed up. He showed up, but he missed too many sitters. He missed too many sitters, and it's not acceptable. If you're playing for a Bayern Munich team, I think that's one place that Bayern Munich need to address. They need a backup striker. They need a backup striker. Like, we need a serious backup striker, because I don't think Choupo-Moting is the guy to be our backup striker. We need someone like a Haaland or something, like a young striker who can come off the bench and do something and make a difference. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. One thing that I do find interesting is, obviously you mentioned Lucas Hernandez. I do want to get into Lucas Hernandez a little bit later with a round question. But besides that, let's hear from Adam Talksport. What did you think about the game? If you're here.
Hi, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on. I thought we played well. I just feel like we weren't clinical. One thing I will say about Core Football TV, sorry if I said your name wrong, we ain't getting Haaland to be a backup striker. There's no way he's going to be a backup if he goes to a club. I am a bit confused with him not starting Alphonso Davies. I thought, maybe the result would have been the same, but I feel like Alphonso would have done better than Hernandez would have. And that's not to throw shade on Lucas Hernandez, because he's good at, but I just feel like you should start Alphonso in these types of games. Choupo-Moting, he did score today, but like a lot of people said, he missed a lot of sitters and just, he wasn't bad, but he could have done much better. And if I'm going to be honest, I'm trying to be positive and say, you know what, you can be doubted a lot, but at the end of the day, Bayern can, win. I'm just trying to be positive and hope for the best.
Fair enough. So yeah, as I said, we're going to talk about Lucas Hernandez, but I do also want to talk about the defense.
Bayernfantv, can I explain this guy? Let me explain to him why I'm saying Haaland as a backup striker. If you saw that game when Dortmund was playing Augsburg, don't you guys all see that Haaland came in and made a big impact? He was their impact sub player coming in that type of game
but
against Augsburg.
I think the point that he's really making with that comment is not so much that like Haaland is not quality, but rather that having Haaland as a backup is almost impossible because of how much wages he would take, how much his transfer fee would be, and these factors put together.
Oh, okay. So then, what about Kramaric? What do you think about him? Could he be?
Well, we were linked with Kramaric early on in the season, very strongly until we quiet about the fee, and the fee was said to be too expensive for a backup.
Yeah, it was like
I think they wanted
30
40
to 40
million.
million. Yeah,
he would have been
around
excellent. I think he would have been a way better upgrade than Choupo-Moting, to be honest. But I don't know. Or maybe Mariano from Real Madrid. I mean, that could work. That could work. It's just yeah. Sorry.
I think I just wanted to say one more thing, Bayernfantv, if you don't mind. I think with all the rumors, like how our board is like failing Hansi Flick, all these rumors from the German media, right? I think there is a bit of truth to that, because I can't imagine us assuming that this is going to be a very congested like season with all these fixtures, and then you still have the international breaks. So I don't know what made them assume that Lewandowski would be fit for majority of these games, and then to have Choupo-Moting as the backup striker if anything happens. I think they should have planned accordingly. And yeah, I don't, Choupo-Moting, he has scored occasionally, but still, he is not obviously my preferred striker. So if you can get someone better in the summer, then obviously, I would love to get anybody. Just not Choupo-Moting, just anyone who is, very clinical, that can actually take their chances as well. Choupo-Moting was a bit wasteful, but, he was part of the score sheet, so you can't really complain too much, but yeah.
How old is Mariano? Isn't he 23 or something?
Mariano Diaz from Real Madrid?
Yeah.
Oh, he's much older. He's he's like in his mid-20s, like 26, 27.
Oh, dang, no.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We need a young backup striker. Oh. Yeah.
Right, but we're going to continue with the striker discussion. I think it's going to be quite an interesting discussion because obviously we got the Choupo-Moting today. But I do want to get to Bayern fanboy Sad, who's just joined us, and just hear his thoughts on the game that happened today.
Yeah, my thoughts on the game was I think we played pretty well, but I think did you guys see on Sane played on the right, and he was so forced to use his left foot. It looks like he can't use his right foot. So I want to see Sane like play on the left wing. Like I want Hansi to test that out because at City he played on left wing and he performed. Where he drives outside and passes the ball in and gets a lot of assists, right? So I want to see Sane play on the left wing more often because it looks like that he just can't shoot or pass with his right foot in that game. He just forces everything and pass and shoot with his left foot, not trying with his right foot for some reason. And for the backup striker situation, I think, yes, we need to improve. Choupo-Moting isn't good enough. He's just not Bayern level, in my opinion. Lewandowski, unfortunately, was injured a week before the game because of international break. So my thoughts on the game was I think we played pretty well, but again, we weren't clinical enough. Muller played well. I don't think Alaba played terrible. I think Alaba played a good game at center back, and center mid, but he also missed a couple of chances as well.
Okay.
Bayernfantv. Let me say this. One thing Gnabry too could have given us in this game is the way he shoots on the run. You understand what I'm trying to say? He knows how to shoot on the run, and he's a much better finisher than Choupo-Moting.
I agree.
Yes.
Gnabry is the type of winger that can also play a striker because he is clinical.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like last season he scored 4 against Spurs, 2 against Chelsea, and 1 against Barca, 1 against Lyon. So I just think Gnabry is that type of player that we need in this situation.
Yeah, I have a feeling that
Just
Gnabry could have started in the center as well.
Yeah. I just want to do one correction. First of all, he scored 2 against Lyon. And the second thing that I do want to mention is that it's been confirmed that Leon Goretzka and Niklas Süle have both got muscular injuries. And there's no idea how long they'll be out for. So we know now why those substitutions were made.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and probably the snow really didn't help us as well. Neuer, the first shot from Mbappe, Neuer, I think he was there was like a lot of snow in his eye. It troubled his vision,
But Bayern fanboy said, like, bro, it happened against Paderborn. That's no excuse. Like, you know, this happened to him against Paderborn, and we got stung by 3-0, like in the first half. So, like, I don't know what's going on with Bayern playing in the snow. Like, I just don't know why it's always a bad result. Yeah.
I mean, again, I think Neuer was just anticipating Mbappe to, shoot wide, not wide in terms of like wide of the goal, but like on the other side of the net, and that's what he was anticipating. But Mbappe sliced that shot, and then it went under him. Very typical as a goalkeeper. Like a lot of the time as a goalkeeper, I'll know because I've played as a goalkeeper for so long. Actually, I played most of the positions, honestly. I know that people, like, most of the time, when you make saves that are that close, you more so anticipate them rather than react. And I think Neuer just anticipated Mbappe to shoot to the side. and Mbappe sliced that shot, and then he had enough time to react to that again. So that's just the way it is. Sometimes the cookie crumbles, and sometimes it crumbles in favor, sometimes it doesn't. So I want to start a little roundtable discussion, I guess, if we want to call it so. Everyone, you can unmute your mic and just have a discussion on I can't even say his name, on Brazo, Salihamidzic, because I've seen two comments. I mean, there are plenty of comments, but even before this game, Alfo says Hassan Salihamidzic has made poor transfers to improve his team, and Kadim writes Brazo out. So there's very much this narrative between Flick and Salihamidzic, so on and so forth. As I said at the beginning of this game, Flick was asked in an interview about a quote that Lewandowski said. Well, Lewandowski said that he very much wants to play with Flick next season, and Flick essentially dodged that question when asked whether he will still be here next season. So for me, I think he's leaving. But what are your thoughts on Salihamidzic and the transfers we've done last summer, or his transfers in general? Now, again, I kind of want to have this to be a roundtable discussion where everyone can chime in, but don't dwell on things too long. Have it more as discussion rather than just one person talking, essentially. So, what is everyone's thoughts on Salihamidzic?
I won't dwell on it too much, but like this is just me, bro. Like to be honest, bro, Bruno Sarr was a really poor signing. Like I think buying Sarr and then also getting Roca, because the thing about Roca is not good in closing spaces. You understand what I'm trying to say? But like you look at someone like a Goretzka, he's good at closing spaces. He gives good defensive cover for Kimmich. Roca can't do that. Now, my thing about Salihamidzic is, I think he's gonna win this battle personally, just because I just don't think Hansi Flick has the board of directors in his hands. Like he doesn't have the say over transfers, Like for example, you look at a team like Liverpool, Klopp has a say in transfers. You understand what I'm trying to say? Pep has a say in transfers for Manchester City. But when you look at Bayern Munich, because the thing that I would say is like we're more like we're a bit like Real Madrid. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like we don't dwell on players to stay in our club for so much, and we don't depend on one player to make our whole team better. You understand what I'm trying to say? So that's why players like Jerome Boateng is leaving. That's why players like Alaba is leaving personally, because we are trying to move on to the next and new phase of football where, you have players like Upamecano and these type of players who are coming in, Omar Richards, these type of players who will improve us defensively, But yeah, I think Salihamidzic is gonna win this battle against Flick. I think Flick is not gonna stay because he doesn't have any say over the transfers, and because of that, it's really, really sad. I think he's one of the best man managers in football, Hansi Flick, to be honest. But I might be wrong, but a lot of people say, oh, he didn't deserve it. But last year, I thought he really deserved it. And I really need him to. I really want him to stay, but I just don't see him staying. I think linking us with Nagelsmann, I think Nagelsmann is going to be our coach come next season. Yeah.
Personally, I think Salihamidzic signing like this season particularly, it's more to a panic signing. Choupo-Moting, it was signed in the deadline day. Bonasar deadline day, Costa deadline day, and all of those signings, they haven't performed for us, including Mark Roca and Tanguy Nianzou. Tanguy Nianzou has been injured most of the time, so he hasn't gotten a chance to perform. But I think it was a panic signing. Like Bonasar, I just don't think he's Bayern level. Same with Choupo-Moting and Douglas Costa. I don't know. I just think Douglas Costa just doesn't want to. I don't know. He doesn't look like he's enjoying football.
He's
Play
a
football for Bayern.
Now you know what it is. He's a TikToker by trade. That's what it is.
Look,
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say anything about Costa. I'll keep my mouth shut about Costa because me and him are bad blood. That's all I'll say.
No. But I think, like I said, we all remember Costa in 15-16. He was killing it for Bayern. Like, he
Yeah.
was like Superman. And I
Yeah,
just
but
think,
the Bayern Costa relationship didn't end in good terms. If I'm not mistaken.
Uli
I
Hoeneß called
agree.
him a mercenary. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a good point. Core Football TV mentioned like Costa was very good in 2015-16. He was like
Yeah.
voted the second best Brazilian footballer that year, actually behind Neymar. So it kind of
Yeah.
shows how good he was. But
yeah,
I think the one point I wanted to make though, it's like we look at how we made our signings previously under Matthias Sammer. I don't know if I pronounced his name correctly or not, but he was a very good director for us. He was very good for Bayern. Everybody knows. Like, as soon as he was employed in 2012, we signed Dante, Mandzukic, all those players, won the treble right after, and that just helped us a lot. And I'm not saying that Salihamidzic is like bad, but it's like when you have to kind of, come into his shoes, then it's going to be a very hard job because of the standards that Samar has already set up. Now, I think some of the good deals we've had, like Alphonso Davis, I think that was very good from Brazo. Signing, like extending some of the contracts of the players, like Lewandowski, was also good as well. But in general, just some of the signings he's made, it's like Bayern fanboy Sad mentioned, as well as Core Football TV. Bouna Sarr, seriously, like. We were linked with Serginho Dest and Max Aarons. We were linked with these two people, and in the end, we get Bouna Sarr. No, I have a good feeling. I think people like to say that it's a panic buy, but I have a good feeling that we also got him just because we played a friendly at the time against Marseille, and he was playing.
Hussein Max Aarons, right? We only have to pay 35 million for Max Aarons. That's all we have to. But
If I'm not mistaken. Serginho Dest was about to go to Bayern, and then Barca signed him, and Barca hijacked the signing.
Yeah, the thing with Serginho Dest is that, again, we don't know what's going on between Flick and Brazo. We don't know how the planning is going, if it's going accordingly or not. So we don't know if Hansi Flick said that, oh, you know what, I want Mark Rocha to join my team. Because if he didn't want Mark Rocha, then we didn't have to get him. We didn't have to get Bouna Sarr, and that money could have gone to buying Serginho Dest, who is showing levels at Barcelona. He's done very well for the United States as well. Like, he's showing it. Meanwhile, we have Bouna Sarr, who he's made two bad passes that ends up getting our players injured instead. Like, come on, this is the difference, man. That our signings under Brazo haven't been the greatest. I think the one thing I can credit Brazo at least is getting Upamecano very, very early. I think that's one good thing I can say. But, it's just going to be very difficult now what will happen between Flick and Brazo. I'm one of those people that don't like to read like what's happening in the media too much, because sometimes it's always like, I wouldn't say lies, but it's just something that tries to build up tension between the club to make things go wrong. So I don't really like to look into it too much. But if Flick does leave, then can we blame him? Absolutely not, because once you win the treble, obviously you feel like you deserve a bit of more support in terms of the transfers, and I feel like that's probably something Hansi Flick is questioning right now. Like, I didn't want Bouna Sarr. Who the heck is that guy? Why is he on my team? I didn't want
Ustan, I have a question for you. For you Plankins, right? Did he get the support of the board for the transfers in 2012-13 when he won the treble?
Yeah, I think he did. He wants to Javi Martinez, right?
Yeah.
After the treble, he left. Before it, though, after the 2012 final, Job personally came out and said, if we get Javi Martinez, we'll win the Champions League next season. So that's why Javi Martinez then became our most expensive signing. I think 40 million. That's how much we paid for him back then. And then he won a treble. So, like, we do. That's the thing with Bayern.
Yeah.
I was going to say, the coaches, they do get who they want. Like, Jupp Heynckes got Javi. Pep famously said, Thiago or nothing. So if like a coach has a specific wish, then usually they do get him.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
a board still is predominantly the people in charge of making these transfers.
Yeah, I think at the same time though, we can't forget that we could have still got someone like a Dest per se. Let's just say that. But at the same time, there was still a pandemic, hence why we made some of these cheaper signings. But you know what? I still think we could have done better in terms of our scouting. We could have still done better because I'm looking at some teams that have gotten, I'm looking at Leicester, for example. They are stacked with right backs. They have Ricardo Pereira and Castagna, and that's Leicester City. I'm not saying that they're bad, but obviously they're not on our level, of course. We're like one of the biggest clubs in the world, yet they have better right backs than we do.
Yeah.
Even West Ham have got a better right back in Vladimir Sufal, and that's crazy to believe. West Ham of all teams,
And I agree with you, and definitely the Bonasar. I don't think Bayern scouted him at all. I think it was just like a deadline or like the last 3 days of the deadline day. They just looked at this Bonasar guy, look at some YouTube montage, and signed him. That's probably the case. I mean, just to say, Pavard, I think he's a good right back, but for the long term, I don't think he is the right back for us, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he was good last season, in my opinion. He was good, but then he got injured. I think we have to keep in mind though the injuries he's faced, as well as being like constantly playing during the international breaks.
The amount of games that Bayern's playing, the Club World Cup, all the Super Cups, the DFB Pokal, well not anymore, but the Bundesliga, and the international break as well.
Yeah, so, like he's not getting rest, and the thing with the international breaks, France doesn't really have any like good right backs. That's why Deschamps made him like into a makeshift right back, because he was initially a center back. I think we have to keep that in mind as well, that we're seeing some of his traits as a center back as he's in the right back position, which, today I wouldn't say he was bad. I think he was a lot better than usual, but then again, that doesn't really say much because in the end we did lose. Our defense wasn't that great, but you know what, like, we do need to figure out the right back situation, and we need to see what our board does next transfer window, because right now it's not really acceptable. Our defense has just been appalling, really, just not up to standards.
Yeah, and all right, what's up? You can say.
With the signings this season, Sane, for me, it's inconsistency. Some games he looks very good, other games he doesn't. Bunasar, who, like Hussein said, no one really wanted Bunasar. We were all really hoping for Dest or Max Savins, but Douglas Costa, the guy is probably not even a footballer anymore. Hansi Flick is. I feel really bad for Hansi Flick because he really changed Bayern when he come in, because think about it, when Kovac was here, Thomas Muller, he was playing good, you could say, but he wasn't really playing that much. Hansi Flick comes in, Muller instantly becomes better, Davies instantly becomes better, you're not a bad manager if you go loads of games unbeaten.
Has Hansi Flick has he had any say on our signing? Like, has he gotten a player that he actually wanted?
I don't think he has.
I don't think he has, no.
Yeah, because Sane wasn't Hansi, I think it was Brazo. Hansi wanted Werner, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted Werner. Yeah.
And
it's
debatable.
I think we're glad we didn't get Werner with the way he's playing.
I remember Havertz too was also one of his wishes.
Yeah.
And there are some reports that he really wanted Callum Hudson-Odoi. That it wasn't Salihamidzic that wanted him, despite the fact that obviously he is the face of that transfer, or that the transfer side, I guess. But it actually was Flick that really wanted Callum Hudson-Odoi.
But Chelsea kept rejecting. Like, we literally bidded for him like a couple of times, and Chelsea.
We bidded him since 2018-2019 season.
With Hudson-Odoi, everyone was so high on him. my friend who's a Chelsea fan, he thought he was going to be the best player in the world at one point.
Yeah.
You know, and
I don't think he's even playing right now. Like he doesn't
Yeah.
play
no,
for Chelsea.
The thing,
so I feel like Chelsea.
Since Tuchel
I feel like
took over, he's actually played quite well, I must say. I've been watching all the games since Tuchel took over.
But Chelsea's best player, in my opinion, is still Mason Mount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The haters won't like to hear it, but he is.
Yeah. Now
Yeah.
the thing with
It's true.
Callum Hudson-Odoi, like, you know, no matter what, every transfer window you're gonna hear the story with him because this is like a Brazil love affair. Him and Callum Hudson-Odoi.
I have a question for all of you.
Yeah.
If Hansi Flick was to leave and we got in Nagelsmann, would you be happy or would you think, you know, Hansi's been treated harshly?
I wouldn't be happy.
I think Flick is being treated really harshly, to be honest. Because like we all know, like my problem with Nagelsmann is Nagelsmann is a philosophy possession merchant. And I've always said this about him in RB Leipzig. He just isn't the right guy for a team like Bayern Munich. You understand what I'm trying to say?
No, but what I think is, I feel like Hansi had such a good first season, and like the board, Salihamidzic just thinks that Hansi can create these fucking, like bad players,
You can
like
swear.
Bonasar. All right, sorry. Bad players, and Hansi can turn them into prime Ronaldinho, prime Messi. I don't know, but like I think Salihamidzic and I don't know what the disagreement is between Salihamidzic and Hansi Flick, but I'm pretty sure it's about the transfers, and I don't think Hansi is getting supported by Salihamidzic with the transfers, because most of Bayern's transfers is decided by Hassan Salihamidzic, right? So maybe next season. My opinion, next season Hansi is still gonna be here, but the next season might be his last season in Bayern.
Okay. So first of all, I answer this question. Did I go to uni in the Northwest? Yes, I did. Mega Money 786. Hello. The second thing that I do want to say is that there's one comment here that said that that it's probably Flick's dream. I have the impression that Hansi Flick's dream is to go to the Germany national team. And I'm going to be honest with you, right? If I was a manager, I think training national team is always going to be the dream. I'll be honest, I don't really care much for international games at all. Obviously, I do support Germany whenever we play, but I don't really care too much. But if I was a manager, having that whole country behind you and being basically immortalized if you win the World Cup, that by itself is such a huge thing that I think any manager, especially any German manager, where the World Cup is treated as such a huge thing. I can tell, like I can tell you, in 2006 when the 2006 World Cup happened, and I was living in Munich back then. Like it was the biggest thing ever. Like you couldn't go to anywhere without anybody talking about the World Cup. It was that huge of a deal. So if you win the World Cup with Germany, you're basically a legend. And that's just the way it is. Now, the other thing that I would do want to say is that I do want to introduce Daz's football and just get his overall take on the game. What did you think about today's game against PSG?
Very frustrating, has to be said. I thought we could have got at least something from that. Not very often do you have 30 shots and not win. And I've never known that before. I think we missed Louis, obviously. I think everyone will say that. But what people can't be doing is just relying on Lewandowski getting us the goals. We got Muller, who scored today, good header. Choupo-Moting, I thought was quite good actually. I haven't been a big fan of him, but I thought today he proved himself, and I thought he played quite well, and against his former team, especially in a big game like this. But the goals that we conceded, the defending is awful. The first goal, caught on the break. Second goal, how do you leave Marquinhos free open and let him run in behind? The defending's pathetic, has to be said. But I can't fault the team's efforts in front of goal. We were just unlucky to come away with nothing there. But it's a big task in Paris because not many teams tend to win the Champions League in Paris. So it's going to be a tough. It's going to be a really tough away game. That.
When is the second leg? Is it gonna be next week?
Next
Tuesday.
Yeah, next week.
Oh.
God help us.
Yeah, and then we still.
I think we'll be fine.
Nah,
To
is
be fair,
Goretzka? Nah, if Goretzka is still gonna be out, is he? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
why-
or the official word is that he just has a muscular injury, the same as Schurrle, but tests will
He
have to
looked
be
fine,
done
though.
tomorrow.
He looked fine. He jogged off.
Yeah.
Bayernfantv. A PSG fan wants to join the stream. Is it okay, or you don't want him to join?
Yeah,
Is this-
absolutely.
apart from his being spammed all the time.
Okay.
No, I've got no issue with PSG fans coming in or whatnot, or rubbing it in. I just don't want them to spam the comment section.
Comment section. Yeah.
I'm trying to be positive for next week, hoping that that we can at least score about 2 or 3 goals. But the likelihood is, well, let's be
Not
positive.
likely,
Let's just hope that it's going to be hard without Levy, Gnabry, now Goretzka's out, and is Schurrle out? Did you say?
Yeah, well,
yeah,
he's
he
got
came off,
he
didn't
I
went
think
off
that's
of a
good.
muscular
I think
injury.
that's good. If Schurrle is out, that's all right. Because he's an awful defender too. Like I think he should not play the second leg at all. To be honest.
Yeah,
I
Tell you what,
prefer
I'm not a fan
yeah.
of both them.
No disrespect to Schurrle, but I feel like the one problem I had, as I mentioned earlier, is the fact that he doesn't play the offside trap, and I think that's cost us many goals sometimes. Like we've seen it earlier in the season when we first played Leipzig at home, and since then it's the same issue. He doesn't play the offside trap. Happened today, but yeah, I mean, Schurrle, it wasn't a good game from him. Like he did make some tackles, but again, like if you're gonna get a new contract here at Bayern, like you have to play according to your ability. And Schurrle is a good defender, but he's not playing like one. That's the issue.
Can I ask Dazza the same question I asked all you guys? Daz, do you know if we get Nagelsmann as manager, would you be happy or would you feel like Hansi's been, treated harshly?
Well, I wouldn't think he's been treated harshly because I think Hansi's done well, but we haven't been the best this season, and that's mostly been down to the defence, really. I think Nagelsmann coming in, I wouldn't mind that. I think he's a good young manager with a lot of potential, and he's doing quite well with Leipzig, isn't he? I think he's the first Leipzig manager to get them to a European quarter-finals, so he's done quite well for himself. So, no, I'd take it. He's German, obviously, so it's his native country, and I'd maybe, if Hansi Flick had to drop down as manager, I'd still probably keep him as assistant manager, because I think he's good enough to be like that. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind him alongside Nagelsmann. I think that'll be a good partnership, in my opinion.
With the defence, does anyone think that Upamecano coming in not really make a huge difference, but he'll at least be better than Alaba and Schurrle?
This is
I think
my
he'll make a
problem.
difference. He'll make a difference.
This is my problem. This is my problem because, like, my problem with Upamecano is he wasn't really that good in Leipzig. Like, let's be honest now. Like, I actually think Konate is a better defender than him. You know what I'm trying to say?
Konate gets injured a lot,
but
though. That's the problem.
Yeah,
He does.
Yeah,
but
he'll
I would have
strengthen our defence up.
bought
strengthen it up.
Konate instead of him. I think he would have solved probably the issue. Upamecano is good.
yeah,
Upamecano, but he also, he can add creativity in the center back because
yeah.
he is a ball playing center back, and
Exactly.
he's good with the ball. So
Yeah.
and alongside him, we'll probably play like Lucas, right?
Yeah, I think that's what that's what our manager, like Hansi Flick, I think that's what the board have been looking for. A center back that can just play the ball well. That's why we have Alaba in the starting 11. Like, people might not really appreciate him nowadays, but that is why he's still playing. He's very good with the ball. Same goes for Boateng. Some people might criticize him, but Boateng is a very good passer of the ball too. I think as a center back, his passing ability is quite underrated actually. And that's the same goes with Schurrle. Well, Schurrle, I mean, nothing too special, but he can pass the ball well.
TV, I think you can add up to 10 people. Can you?
Yeah, you can.
No,
On StreamYard,
I can't.
you can.
I'd have to pay
On
the premium
StreamYard.
version.
Oh, okay, all right. I see.
I'm using the free version. I'm a cheapo, all right. If I start streaming more, that's a different situation. But I'm a cheapo.
Don't blame me.
I don't.
Who really wants to pay?
So unfortunately, I don't have more space for other people to join. Lord K, who's currently in the waiting list. Sorry about that.
He's the PSG.
One thing I will. Hopefully there'll be space later on. I mean, I don't know how long I mean, I'm going to be here for quite a while. I'm going to be honest, but like, I'm probably going to be here for like 4 hours or 5 or 6 hours.
I won't be here
so I'm sure not many people.
Too long, sir.
Same.
Fair enough.
By the way,
I just wanted to answer the question because
why did Davies not start?
he's probably thought as like the replacement as a winger because obviously Gnabry wasn't available, so he's probably thought to come on, to bring some pace in the second half against tired legs.
Right.
I thought he should have just started. To be honest, I don't think Gnabry's good at left back.
Not as a left back, I think he's excellent as a centre back.
Yeah, I think Lucas defensively did well in that game, but like he didn't provide much offensively in that game, which Davies would have provided if he did start. But I think Lucas is really probably he was our best defender that game. Oh no, alongside Pavard, obviously.
Yeah. I think
so,
I think like as Bayernfantv said, like Davis was the option for like kind of like the backup winger, but at the same time, could the way we have gone into this game have improved? I think so. I think.
Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to go now. Thanks for having me on.
No worries.
Okay.
No worries.
Yeah, but as I was saying, like the way we pushed this game could have been better. I think what we were forgetting is that this PSG team was not the greatest defensively. Like Navas saved them many times.
Especially after Marquinhos went off.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we all knew like all they were going to focus on was counter-attacking, and that's why I think Davis should have started because he would have been great with his pace.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Neymar and Mbappe was the difference in that game.
Exactly.
That's their main game plan, isn't it? Just defending and catch them on the break. It's I mean, pretty boring, but quite.
It works.
Quite
if it works, it works.
Well, yeah.
So I just want to say we do have a space available right now. So if anyone wants to join, just direct message me on Twitter or Instagram. Although I don't really check Instagram, but if you let me know in chat that you message me on Instagram, I'll have a look. So I have to address a few things here, unfortunately. All right. So this one, people are clowning me in Half Hopes live stream, and then this one that says, "I have a question."
No idea what this is.
Was I overconfident with your earlier video? Because I famously said, maybe it was my twin brother, but I famously said that we would win 7-1.
I heard.
7-1. Now
against Barcelona.
No, I look. I had good reasons. I had very good reasons. All right. The reason why I said 7-1. I mean, if you look at our chances again, as this person said, chance-wise, my prediction could have worked if we were clinical, and that's exactly what I thought we would. I didn't think we would be extremely clinical. I think without Lewandowski, you're certainly missing that central striker that's going to get you these. That's going to convert most of your chances. But the way I looked at it was very much in the in a way, in like the team-to-team comparison, is that PSG they do give up a lot of chances, whereas we create a lot of chances. So I thought naturally they're not a team that's going to sit necessarily like deep. Yes, they're going to sit back and allow yourself most of the possession, but they're not going to sit deep. And usually against teams that don't sit deep, usually against teams that you don't park the bus, we're usually very clinical. We're usually very. So that's why I was very confident with my prediction. I didn't think we were going to keep a clean sheet. I'm going to be honest. I had two predictions. One was a 7-1 and the other one was a 5-3. I knew there was going to be goals in this. There was going to be goals in this game. But I was a little bit more confident because we kept.
Hey, should have been 5-3. Should have been 5-3.
Me, I didn't really expect that performance because Neymar played really, really well, and I didn't expect him to play like that after the red card against Lille. Was it?
Lille, you lost against them.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting that.
May I ask you a question about that though? Why did you think the red card would justify him playing bad? Like, wouldn't he play?
No,
better?
I'm not. What I'm saying is, obviously he's hot. Neymar is hot-headed, right? Yeah, and I did, and obviously I thought that his work rate, or maybe he's gonna get into like fights and then it's not going to help the team's morale. And I thought it was going to play into our hands, but turns out Neymar he was unplayable today. Neymar played really good.
Yeah.
Especially with the second assist.
I must give Pochettino
Main
credit
product.
because he subbed Neymar off in the second half, and I was like,
Yeah.
why? Then I remembered that Neymar is a yellow card away from being suspended, so it was actually a very good move. Like I don't give Pochettino a lot of credit for a lot of things, but for that one I do, because that was a good move. Because like Neymar was starting to get frustrated with us fouling him, with Boateng fouling him, and Kimmich at the beginning of the game, essentially pushing him away. So like he was starting to get frustrated, and when Neymar gets frustrated, he lashes out. So like it was good move for Pochettino at the end there.
Season. It's probably their biggest win this season. They haven't done particularly well in Liga, have they? So,
Lord K, bask in your win. Tell us, how does it feel? Well, he doesn't seem to be here at the moment.
Yo, wait.
Good.
I'm sorry, I got a phone call. I didn't hear you.
All right, I said bask in your win. Tell us, how does it feel?
No, I mean, it doesn't feel anyway. It's still a lot of work to do. Obviously, Bayern had a great game as far as what they do. Like they peppered, man. Like man had to hold on. So it's like I can't come here and say, "Oh, PSG had a beautiful game." Like we did what we needed to do, and I just want to know, how are you feeling? Like how are you coping? Because you said your prediction was, I don't even think you saw you guys losing. Most Bayern fans I heard didn't even think.
I didn't.
Possible. Even with
I'm.
Another thing they've been got.
So
I
want to
knew
know
we'd come to goals.
Obviously, I could come on here and just say, "Oh, Rob, we won. You guys lost." No, I'm not gonna do that because it's still work to be done. But I just want to hear how you men feel about that, the scoreline.
The thing was I was also on the show with Bayernfantv on HH show.
Are people talking?
And
I can't hear anybody. It sounds quiet.
Yeah. So I was saying that I feel like Bayern would win, but the only reason is not because.
Yes, we're talking about that.
Oh yeah, I couldn't hear anyone.
All right, that's fine. But I was saying that I feel like Bayern would win only because I feel like the wingers could have taken advantage of their fullbacks, but Coman and Sané were just not at it. They were just not at it today. They're not good.
I thought Coman played well actually. Sané I didn't think had a good game. He's I mean, Adam said this as well. Adam said this earlier on that it was all inconsistency. That's the problem with Sané this season. He'll have one good game and then he won't play well again. That's the problem with him. He's a bit inconsistent. He was, I think, like that against Manchester City as well. So he just needs to sort of get a bit more consistent. When Gnabry comes back, he'll be straight back on the bench. Simple as that.
Gnabry can't play in the second leg, right? Because he's.
Understood. That's a good point. But my whole thing is this, right? And this is what I just don't.
Oh no, because it's
everybody
10 days, isn't it?
Yeah.
10 days, isn't it?
Yeah, go on. Oh, go on, Lord
Well,
K.
when he
Go on.
eventually comes back.
I think he's just left to rejoin because he said I couldn't hear us. But what I will say is this, all right? I'm confident. I'll be honest. I'm fairly confident about the second leg. I'm actually more. It's funny. I'm actually more confident about the second leg than I probably would have been if we were leading, because I actually think that we're gonna be fairly. We know we're down. We know that we created the chances, and now we're just gonna work on finishing them.
Yeah, and the pressure.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm actually. As ridiculous as that sounds,
I don't think
we've seen 3 away goals, right? But like I don't know. I just feel good. I just feel good. As ridiculous as that sounds.
I'm not as confident. I mean, if we'd got a draw from that, which we should have actually had the win in the bag completely there. Could have got at least 5 or 6, but we just couldn't take chances. We do that again against PSG. Yeah, fair enough. But the only concern I have is the defense, because the defense is just not. Is not strong enough. We can't out-muscle half of the players. Choupo-Moting, I think, out-muscled more of their players than half of our defence. But Davies has to start. He's got to start the second leg. If he doesn't start, then it's back to the wall straight away. because we'll be in trouble, I think, because they tend to make advantage at home.
Yeah.
You know, they got 3 away
Yeah,
goals. We have
Bayern
to get at least 2. So we have to get at least 2 or 3 and win the game. It's not easy. I'm not as confident as I was before.
I mean, it's not
tough
easy,
team.
of course, but it's football, and we've done plenty of these big, well, call it big it's a comeback, yes, but we've done plenty of these in the past. The one I always go back to is the Porto one, because on that game, it's my favorite game of all. I'm sorry, it's like the most significant game in like the grand scope of things, but it's still my favorite game of all time. Where we were down 3-1 in the first leg, and then we just beat them 6-1, and I was like, yo, why was it even worried in the first place? So since that game, I'm like not worried ever. Ever.
Now I think I'm not saying that we can't do it. I think we can do it. But I think we're just gonna need to be a bit more clinical than how we were today.
Yeah, and we need to defend better as well. Because
We're just
if we defend like that, I don't think
defending. Yeah.
Yeah, the defending.
And you
has
know
always
something
been
that
problematic.
I think Flick should do a lot of rotations, like he really does. Kimmich needs to get a rest. Players like
The thing is with Kimmich is he's one of our most creative players. So without him,
I know.
He
we
created
played
like 10 chances today. He created 10 chances today. Kimmich, brilliant.
I know, but
without him, he won't do a thing.
We're already leading the Bundesliga.
I agree, but we can't miss.
Yeah. Nah.
You know,
Yeah, maybe
I think
possibly, but
even Coleman
exactly.
needs
That's
a
the
rest.
thing. That's the thing.
Coleman needs a rest.
We're playing
Coleman
Union
needs a rest.
Berlin, so I doubt Hansi Flick will rotate because Union Berlin, right? I mean, they're only 7th, I believe, but it's still, it's still a team that can do some damage.
But here's the thing. Our squad depth isn't that good because for example, if you want to rest like Coleman, for example, Gnabry is out, Costa is out. So like, who do we want to put in the left wing?
We have no
I
options.
mean,
That's the problem.
Yeah, we could Musiala. We could play him on the right or left. But
Avon
if
calling.
we do that, if we want to rest, if we want to rest Kimmich, I don't think Roca is gonna provide the same creativity level as Kimmich. So I mean I don't think we should rest that much players against Union Berlin because Union Berlin is a very, very strong side, and we can't just rest all like our main players there. Probably we should rest like we should rest like. Sure. I don't know.
If we can nullify Max Cruz, then I think we'll be fine because he's their main threat. He's their main threat for me.
I'm just coming in here with some dates in terms of injury and personnel because I saw that comment and I was like, let me have a look. So Pochettino is in the press conference that Marquinhos felt a pain in his hamstring, but they have no idea if it's serious yet or not. So that's just the injury update on Marquinhos for PSG.
He was the one who frustrated us today.
Wait, Marquinhos
he was
out
our best
second
defender.
leg?
Marquinhos played really.
Bro, if
really
Marquinhos is out second leg, there's a chance, yo.
Come on.
There's a huge chance, yo. If he's out second leg, you know.
Because since
Who's PSG playing? Who's PSG playing? Who's PSG playing?
You know what we need against
Strasbourg.
you know what we need against PSG. We need that Manchester United juju when Dalot shot that shot, and Kimpembe get that penalty. We need that luck. We need that luck.
We need that, yo. We need that. Shoot. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it kind of gets overlooked because Manchester United are in Europa League. But let's not talk about that too much. But
they're playing Strasbourg away, PSG. On Saturday.
Nah, Strasbourg should just injured all of their players. In my opinion.
No, they're a good team though. Strasbourg's a good.
Snap
They have
snap Mbappe. Yes, just snapped a lot. Eat a lot.
Yeah. They're a good team though.
So I've got a question for all of you, and it's a very interesting question actually. I think because we talked about it a little, and we talked about individual players a little, but we haven't talked about the whole part of it. And again, because I'm so opinionated and I'm saying that I think our defense was good today, I think we just gave them 4 chances really, and they took their chances. I do want to ask, did you think as a whole the offense was good, or did you think it was
No.
bad? And that's why we conceded the goals. That's basically the question I'm wanting to ask.
Nah, it's just they play really well, and they really abused our high line. You know, our high line, it's really high, and obviously with Mbappe and Neymar, they were more clinical than the finals, so that was probably why. Like, that was the big. It's more. I think we played better than them, but their individual quality just, you know, it just, you can tell it's Neymar and Mbappe, and
locked.
They did what they have to do, and
so guys, I'm gonna read something from Twitter, and this is from I am MiaSanMia, and it's basically a post match from Kingsley Coleman. Coleman said, "We had a good performance, but we must try to make as few mistakes as possible at this level. We know we're only one goal behind. We remain really confident. We know we can do it." And then he also says that we should not be conceding 3 goals at home. There's a return match. We'll give everything to qualify. So that's what Coleman is saying in the first match.
He sounds determined.
Yeah.
He's one of those players. He wants to get back
watch Choupo-Moting score 4 goals against PSG.
Yo, it's not gonna happen, yo.
No.
Since you just mentioned the
Couldn't even
interview talks,
scoff.
there was a very interesting one about Flick. Because we talked about this Flick versus Salihamidzic's discussion obviously earlier, but Flick was asked about whether it was the right time to announce Boateng's departure, and he essentially replied with, "I won't answer this question. I have to answer questions professionally here. I don't have to answer everything, and I don't want to either. I just have to act a bit. Acting is part of the coaching job." So that tension that we mentioned earlier about Flick and Salihamidzic, it's spicy.
Wait, why did Salihamidzic announce that Boateng's leaving?
I think so. I think that was one of the
at the beginning of the game. He did, yeah.
Oh.
He was asked and he answered that, Boateng's been informed that he's not getting a new contract.
But, I'm not a big fan of him.
It's a bit of a shame. Like, Boateng he's been a very good servant for us. He's been very good. But I think, the fact that he did play this game as well, it's a bit weird to, hear that news and then just all of a sudden, get into the match as well. So.
The timing was awful in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that that Salihamidzic worded it was basically that Boateng has already been informed about that a while ago. So there was a Sport Build report, I think, like 4 weeks ago, that essentially said that decision has already been made that Boateng is leaving, and that he's been informed about it. So now it's just like it was publicly. And I very much agree with Flick on this one. That it's the worst timing for it, because even if everyone already knew that he's going to leave, even if everyone already knew that he's not going to get a contract, to say that out publicly, to me,
and everyone's going to be talking about it. Yeah,
exactly.
Everyone's going to be talking about it. It's not the best timing, but
I mean, guys, like, has Jerome Boateng been that good this season? Not really.
I mean,
you could say that about our whole defense. You could say that about everyone.
I mean, he saves in certain games. I'll give him credit. He saved our defense.
Now,
but I'm talking about him in general, right? For example, last year against Barcelona, he was the main reason why Barcelona scored 2, because he was that poor. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, he just doesn't. He's not the prime Boateng that he used to be.
Yeah, definitely isn't. But I still think the timing was just it wasn't the best timing.
One question I have for all of you though is that we have to keep in mind, right, that next year our defense will look like this. We'll have Lucas Hernandez, we'll have Upamecano, we might keep Sula, we'll have Nianzou, we might get Chris Richards back. So my question to you guys is, we're losing 2 veteran defenders. So my question is, even though regardless of, let's say, Boateng's performances or Alaba's, do you think one of them should have stayed just because of the experience and leadership they could have provided?
I agree.
Definitely
I think one of them should have stayed, but
definitely.
I don't think I don't think any of them wanted to sign a 1-year contract. If they wanted to sign a contract, they would want to be a long-term contract, like 3-year or 2-year, especially for Alaba. So maybe Bayern didn't want to commit to them for that long, and that's probably why they did put the pen to the paper and sign the new contract for them. But I think I think one of them should have saved for the experience, because now Schurrle doesn't have that much experience. Upamecano is obviously new. Lucas is new. Pavard is new. I don't think there's experience in that back line, but just hope for the best.
Can I just say thank you to Codely Awesome for the super chat donation. PSG, and he says that PSG's first 2 goals were silly and that Bayern will win. I mean, I very much agree with you in the second part. In terms of the goals being silly, yeah, I mean, yes, but
we could have easily avoided the goals, but
yeah, but we could have also easily scored more as well. So it's just one of those games. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games.
I want to say, I think Alaba is that type of player where his mentality really speaks to the whole team. I think keeping Alaba would have been a very, very good idea, just because his leadership, the way he communicates with the players, and also what he brings to the game. He's a bit fearless, you know what I'm trying to say? He's very fearless, and he doesn't play with fear. So I just really like the way he plays with confidence, has this mentality, a bit like Mueller. You know, Mueller is that type of player that I can say is that, you know, mentality player too. So I think Alaba should have stayed.
I agree with you on that one, because I don't know how many of you here understand German. I'm not sure, but like when obviously now with no spectators in the game, you can very well hear what the players are saying and who the players that talk the most are. And in it's always Müller. Like today, for example, you could hear him shout "Leroy this, Leroy that," and in defense, it's always Alaba. So I actually quite like that, because we have. I said this a long time ago. We have a leader in each position. We have a leader in Neuer who will shout at players. We have a leader in defense in Alaba who will shout at a lot of players. In midfield, we have Kimmich who will shout at a lot of players. In attack, we've got Müller who will shout at a lot of players. Lewandowski is actually not that talkative in terms of like shouting at players, but Müller does that role. So you essentially have like 4 coaches on the field. And look, I'm gonna be honest. Like Flick, he plays his favorites. Has favorites, right? We've all complained about this. I think most people have complained about it this season. When Alaba was in terrible form, he was still being played. But what I will say is that Alaba right now is not in terrible form. He deserves to play.
Agree.
And
I don't think he deserves the hate. He's getting
exactly.
Every time we perform bad defensively, everyone just blames it on Alaba, and it's probably because of his form early on to the season, and obviously him leaving the club. But I think he was solid today. I'm like, and not just today, like all the other games this past few months, I think he's been solid. And I mean, if we have a bad performance, people would still blame it on Alaba.
It's one of those things being a scapegoat.
I wanna say something, because like I said, I am a Mueller fanboy here. And I always say this, okay, that Lewandowski fanboys say, "Oh my goodness, Lewandowski, he's carrying this team, he's doing this, he's doing that." But in the biggest
I'm a Louis
game,
fan that don't say that.
I'm being serious. In the biggest games against Real Madrid, when we were losing by 4, when we lost 4-2 to Real Madrid, Mueller showed up. Lewandowski was nowhere. He only scored a penalty, and I give him credit for that. Against Atletico, Lewandowski was nowhere. He missed so many saves.
The thing is with Levy, he can score out of nothing, and that's probably what. And he is clinical with his chances, and that's what we are missing up top today. And Mueller did a very, very good. Probably he was our best player in this game, in my opinion.
I agree.
With Lewandowski up top there, I'm pretty sure that we could have won that game. I'm not saying that we would still concede, but I think it would be a high scoring like a 4-2 or something like that.
But give credit to Keylor Navas. Keylor Navas was incredible.
Keylor Navas,
he was. Incredible.
Yeah, he was man of the match for me easily. Without him, I don't know. I don't think the score would have been the same. Let's just leave it at that.
Same with the he did that as well against Barcelona. If I'm not mistaken, in the second leg he made unreal saves and kind of.
I mean, but can we really talk about Real Madrid letting him go and getting in exchange Courtois? I think they should have kept Keylor Navas, to be honest.
Yeah, and they paid more to get Courtois, so I don't think that was the best of deals, but
yeah.
No, I mean,
I'm not sure about
either of those. Aging. He was aging, and Madrid probably thought he would, decline from there.
Just get the money while you can. Just get the money while you can, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I agree with the sentiment that was shared earlier that like we're letting too many players, too many of the older players go in in defense, in central defense, in Boateng and Schurrle potentially, and of course Alaba. What I will say though is that we have players that have played in those positions for years now, and I know experience it's a weird thing because we have quite young players, but like we have young players that have played a lot of games already. So you have Lucas Hernandez, who as a centre back has played a ton of games for Atletico Madrid already. He's not that old, but he's already played so many games. And then you've got Upamecano, who's also not very old, but he's also already played a ton of games. So like you have a lot of young players, but young players that have a lot of experience. So while I would look, the best way to put it is like this: while I think that Boateng leaving will be a huge loss, and I think he's probably actually a very good defender and probably the one solid centre back that we've had this season. I know that might be debatable and might be looked at critical. And I think Schurrle, while Schurrle offers a lot to the team as well and can play as a right back, I think one that we'll miss the most is Alaba, just because of his leadership.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Javi is leaving as well, right? Next season.
Yeah, he might go back to Bilbao.
Yes and no. I mean, he's leaving every season basically, but we don't actually know when he's actually.
I can't. I don't even know if he's still.
No.
I barely see him.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to say that they made a predicted lineup for the game against Union Berlin, and they're saying that Javi Martinez might start against them. Just letting you guys know.
Oh, nice.
Wouldn't surprise me.
So to answer your question, Bayern fanboy said he does still exist. Yes.
Oh, he did. Yeah. All right. I thought he just disappeared ever since he scored that winner against Sevilla.
Yeah, Sevilla. He's the Super Cup man against Chelsea and Sevilla. Brilliant.
Oh man. So what was I gonna? Yeah. In Germany they have this saying called "Mentalität Monsters." Derek Ray always talks about it. He refers to Bayern when he says that. Yeah, our mentality will show.
Robin was a good player. You're not gonna have a better right mid than Bob. He's just a legend at the club. Weeby as well.
I agree.
Those days are over.
But we also have to think about Lewandowski. We also have to think about our backups though. And we talked about that earlier a little, but I do want to have that be its dedicated section now, and that is obviously the backup to Lewandowski.
Yes.
You have to think about a few aspects. One, obviously core football mentioned earlier that we should get Haaland, and I'm like, as a backup, I don't see that.
Yeah, that'd be 200 mil. Yeah.
That would have been nice though, because he's a good striker to come off the bench.
But I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to play backup. And I'm like, I don't think any club would pay that much and pay the wages just to play Haaland as backup. So,
I mean, if it was up to me, I'll tell you right now, the player that I would get as a backup, and I know this is very debatable, it's looked at very critical because he's a Dortmund player and he's extremely young. But the player that I would get, Mukoko. And I know I'm the Mukoko fanboy, and I've always been the Mukoko fanboy. I'll always remain the Mukoko fanboy.
Oh.
But I would get Mukoko as the backup because I think he's going to be the best striker of all time. Not just in the future, but of all time. There, I've said it. Now I'm
personally, I would just fit Buonasari or striker in my opinion. He's gonna, I feel like he's the greatest of all time.
No.
I honestly thought that Buonasari would come in today as a winger and replace Sané. I really thought that was going to be the case, honestly.
I was surprised we didn't see Musiala. I was surprised we didn't see Musiala at all today.
Oh yeah, that's true. Someone said in the comments about Mateus Cunha if Hertha Berlin get relegated.
He's a shout.
Yeah, he's a good player.
That'd be a very interesting transfer.
But I think if they do, where is Hertha Berlin in the standings?
I don't think they're that
just
very
outside
high.
of the relegation zone.
14th.
They're about
14th. Oof.
yeah, mid-table.
Hey man, try it out and see, man. Cunha is not a bad shout. He's not a bad shout.
Yeah.
We definitely
Or Patrick Schick. What about Patrick Schick?
One striker.
Patrick Schick, I don't know. That would be actually.
He'd be a Schick player, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
Schick player.
I'll tell you what. I would get Patson Daka from Salzburg.
Yeah, that's a good.
That's what I would get.
Brilliant shot.
Oh yeah.
But then again, we have to we have to understand though that it's an RB thing. If RB Leipzig decide to get Daka,
what happened to Schurrle? Dominic Schurrle? I haven't seen him play.
He was just injured for a very long time.
Yeah, he had an injury at Salzburg, and then Leipzig they essentially got him. But they said that we're gonna do our surgery first, and he might, he's not really fit. I think is he fit yet? I'm not sure, but they basically done his surgery in January, so he's been out for a while since then.
Who are you on about?
Zoboslai, formerly from Salzburg, RB Salzburg.
Yeah. That's it. I haven't seen him either. Obviously having a good season then. Oh dear.
Just gonna answer this very quickly. No.
L.
There you go.
No.
It's not really needed. He's good, but he's not needed. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, no. Sorry.
Bayern. I think Bayern need. We got a centre back sorted, but I think we need another centre back, as well as a Pamagano. We need some better. We need some better wingers, in my opinion, because I just don't think Sané's good enough. Gnabry will come back in, fair enough, but but
I want to see Sané at left.
I just think
to be honest,
the wingers that we have, I just don't think are good enough.
Dazzler's football stand. To answer your question, I think what Brazil will do is he'll get Florian Thauvin and Draxler on a free transfer for the winger options.
No, don't hit me with that. No, don't hit me with that Draxler.
Yo, if
Draxler would have scored today, I'll tell you this right now. If Draxler scored today, this YouTube channel would be deleted. Twitter would be deleted. I'd never come online again. If Draxler had scored, I would be deactivated. That's all I'm gonna say.
He wasn't even that good at Schalke. So
yeah,
I don't think he's that good at Schalke.
Well, he was killing in Wolfsburg though. He was killing in Wolfsburg. I mean, he had a pretty good season there.
Well, yeah. Draxler technically scored. I don't think so. Oh yeah, it was offside, wasn't it? Navasova, no, your next joke.
Look,
Next
Ahmed,
joke.
he's been commenting quite a lot about. Obviously, congratulations that PSG won, but congratulations, but also stay in reality. Come on, bro, stay in reality. There are some there are some things that are too far. I like banter. I said I would have invited. There was a PSG fan that was going to come on here earlier. I invite banter because at the end of the day, when you lose, you face the music. but
Yeah.
you also just had to stay in reality. You got to stay in reality. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
All right. And to answer the question, not yet,
Mukuku is better
but he
than
will be.
Nah, he already is, to be honest. I'm joking. I'm not.
No.
No, I'm not. I'm not. He will be the best striker of all time. I've said this. I'm putting my flag down. I know people
One problem I
ridicule
have.
me for that.
Yeah.
He's out for the season.
One problem
right?
I have is we always try and play
Guys,
high
remember
line.
what
It's not
Flick
gonna
said
work.
before the game? Before the game, Flick was like, I really want to focus on closing the gaps and the spaces between the midfield and the defenders for Bayern.
And we still barely did.
Yeah, that's the problem.
barely did.
That's just so really sad.
But you need
man.
defenders that can cope with the pace of Neymar, etc. There's only one really out-and-out pacey player, and that's Davies.
Yep.
Hernandez isn't that quick. Sula and Boateng are both as fast as snails. And then you got Pavard, who's got a bit of pace, but that back line, especially when they play so high, you're not going to stop Messi. You're not going to stop Mbappe and Neymar going straight through you. And that showed today. And Mbappe just outdid us. Simple as that.
I will correct you on one thing. Just because I always like this point. Boateng's actually our fastest player. He's just incredibly slow to get started.
Really?
Like his top speed is actually the fastest one in the team.
Yep.
He just has very slow acceleration. Yeah, no, Davis has a lot of he's very quick. His acceleration is very quick, and his speed is very maintainable. But with Boateng, say on a 200-meter run, Boateng would win. But in a 100-meter run, in a 100-meter sprint, obviously he's not going to be anywhere close. That's all I'm going to say to that. Because I always like to argue this point that acceleration is a lot more important than top speed, and Boateng is always the perfect example for that because he hasn't got the acceleration, but he's got the top speed.
I think I've seen.
Ooh, it is an interesting name. This is a very interesting name. Not Alexander Isaac, who's been killing it, who's been absolutely killing it. I'm not talking about him. Talking about Aguero.
That'd be.
I don't know if you want to
Isaac.
Where I don't know where Aguero would be. I would obviously love to have Aguero, but is he happy with the backup role, and is Bayern gonna pay Aguero's wages for him just to play as a backup striker?
The wages are the big issue. I think that's one of the issues. If we look at Serginho Dest, for example, I think the wages were a big issue because Barcelona were willing to pay more, right? Same goes for the Callum Hudson-Odoi. I think we tried to get him initially, but Chelsea gave him a really big pay rise. I think that's the issue, So yeah, would I take Aguero if you ask me? I mean, we have Choupo-Moting, so it's obviously an upgrade. Now. So yes, but he's old. Yeah, he's old. And recently he hasn't looked like the same Aguero he is, and obviously because he is old. But I feel like sometimes
I think he'll go back to Buenos Aires.
He might go back to Argentina. I feel like that might be his plan. That's just how I feel. Or he might go to France even. You never know, really.
Yeah, play for Monaco.
Oh, Chelsea won today against Porto. Damn, bro.
But I don't think that was.
That's the rumor that I read, that he wants to stay in England.
Oh, okay.
That's what I read. That Aguero wants to stay in England to break the record, all-time goal-scoring record, and Chelsea were interested in him in case they can't get Haaland.
Big aspiration.
But we don't know how good that is.
I think he could win the Champions League with Chelsea though, if he went there. They got a pretty good team.
I don't know.
I still like Chelsea.
Okay, so I'm gonna pose a question because I've said this earlier when I was just talking by myself and there was nobody in here and I was just talking about the game by itself. And I said this, and I kind of want to see what you all think. Who do you think will win the Champions League? Because my thing is obviously we're down, the first leg that we're down. But my thing is, I thought from the beginning, I've said this a long time ago at the beginning of this season, that we weren't going to win the Champions League because we don't have a Croatian in our team. And since it's a stupid reason, I know, but since 2010, every team that's won the Champions League has had a Croatian in their team.
Real might win it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
Mandzukic
He's
and
right
Perisic, you know. That's
Man's
Real
like
Madrid
Perisic.
Yeah,
might-
so,
Real
like-
Madrid might win it, to be honest. I feel like
So it's either Real Madrid or Chelsea for me, honestly, because like
No,
they have
no,
Croatians in the
never. Chelsea's never gonna win it again. No.
No. But
yeah.
Real Madrid will meet Chelsea in the semis. How
Oh.
things are looking like right now.
yeah.
So they're gonna meet each other, and it's looking like Real Madrid is actually gonna beat Chelsea in the semis.
Yeah.
This is how I'm seeing it. You
Yeah,
know,
maybe it's possible.
Yeah.
I think the one thing you can't forget, like you can judge a squad by how it looks on paper, but the mentality that those players have, like this is the same team that won 3 Champions League in a row. I know we did it as well, but that was a long time ago. That was not
But-
recent. So
People are putting Man City as favorites, but I feel like Dortmund might actually knock them out.
it's possible.
just
I
Dortmund
mean,
is going to beat them.
bro, they got robbed. They got robbed yesterday. by City.
like if Pep does his usual like tactical brilliance in the Champions League, you know, like against the sides of Lyon, like if he does that against Dortmund, then he's gonna go. They're out.
Yeah,
But,
and that's the thing.
what changes
Yesterday,
seem to
Dortmund got
make?
so close
Obviously,
without
different
Haaland
team,
even showing up. Once
Yeah,
Haaland was up
Dortmund's
in that
winning.
tie against,
Dortmund's winning the tie against Man City, in my opinion.
but that's the thing I hate about Dortmund, and I hate about all German teams. You give them the benefit of the doubt. You're like, oh, you know what? They're actually pretty good, and then they'll just let you down in the Champions League. They're like losing 5-0.
Yeah.
You're like, bro, why did I ever
Exactly.
think that you lot were gonna do anything?
Yeah, I asked Josh, Josh the Dortmund fan, and I told him, bro, it's time, man. You can't depend on these guys. They always let you down, man. And he didn't listen to me, and they bottled it yesterday.
It be that way sometimes.
Dortmund. I mean, I feel like Dortmund can still easily win the tie because they've obviously got the away goal and they're playing at the Signal. Even though there's no fans, but I still feel like they might actually win. They might, if they get a 1-0 win, then they win, right? So
Well, I'll win anyway if we don't score.
No, Bayernfantv. I think it's gonna be Real Madrid versus PSG.
Us.
Yeah.
I'll say it. It's Real Madrid versus us, and Real Madrid unfortunately win. That's my prediction.
Oh, Real Madrid
Start the
versus
season,
Bayern
that's-
Munich?
I think Real Madrid will win the Champions League because Real Madrid, they don't lose in the finals ever.
That's the problem. I don't think that would not be good for us Bayern because then we're gonna lose. We're guaranteed to lose to Real Madrid in the finals.
Everyone wants revenge on Real Madrid, but I think like we're gonna get to the final. I think we're gonna turn this game around against PSG. Then we're gonna face.
Real Madrid was about to get knocked out in the group stage if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're very
And
good.
now they're comfortably through to the semis. So like that doesn't really say much. Because look, let's be honest, right? Real Madrid, they're that team. It's why I don't think we're out. Because Real Madrid is this team that has European pedigree. They have European legacy, European history. And that's why I think that we will also go through. Because there is, I don't know why. And again, my whole analysis always comes down to like these invisible factors that you can't really judge, like the Croatian thing. You know, you need to have a Croatian on your team to win a Champions League. It always comes down to like these invisible things. And they have this European pedigree where like even if they're playing their worst season ever, they can still win a Champions League at any time. And very similar to us, where even if we're playing terrible, and I've been saying this for the whole season that I think we've been playing terrible, and people have said, well, we're still winning, so we can't be playing that bad. But on the fence, but anyway, that's a different story. I don't want to keep talking about that. But I still think we're going to win just because of that European pedigree, and that's why. And that's why I think we're going to get to the final, and then Real Madrid is going to beat us in the final. Simple. And I hate it because then the La Bestia Negra, that whole thing is long gone. I'm going to be honest.
No, but you notice something, right?
We
Like
won't win it.
I've noticed something about Real Madrid is they've always been on
They
Bayern's
paid the
coattails.
referees.
You know, every they don't pay the. Well, actually, yeah. I mean that 4-2, man. I think that should have been a Casemiro red, to be honest. But
Nah, Bayern was robbed in that game.
That was only because
yeah, that was a rob right there. But personally, man, I don't see how Real Madrid get knocked out. I just don't know how. You know, I think, but you know something? I think Bayern can beat Real Madrid because they don't have a CR7. You see, they don't have a CR7 like how they did last time.
But it's still like it's in the end of the day, it's still Real Madrid, you know.
Yeah, the thing I'm worried about with Real Madrid is that first off, their midfield is still very strong. That's the one thing.
Yeah.
The other thing is that they're well, I wouldn't say too much about Asensio, but Vinicius Jr. I know this guy gets clowned for his finishing, but this guy can definitely cause a problem for our fullbacks if he does play against us. Definitely. And the other thing is, well, if Ramos and Varane were to come back, then, you know, that defense would be very strong against us. Do I think we can beat them? I think it'd be a very close game. I wouldn't say it's a guaranteed, like, you know, demolition. I think it'd be like a tie. I think we might have a slight edge, though, but because of our high pressing. But, you know, I think Real Madrid are one of those teams that can deal with that press really well, though.
But listen, like, bro, like, when they beat the thing that people don't understand is when they beat us, they had players like Keylor Navas, they had players like CR7 who was a huge factor in those two legs. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
Now they don't really have that. They have Benzema who has to create, who has to score, who has to do a lot of stuff. They have a player like Vinicius who, yes, he's good, but he's not a CR7. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, for sure.
So like, I think we can win them. I think we can beat them because they don't have a star one-man player who can change the whole game like a CR7 or a Messi, like they used to have, you see? And that's the difference. That is why we lost to Barcelona in the 2015 semis. Because that one player, Messi and Neymar, are the players who just totally changed the game. If it wasn't for those guys, we easily beat Barcelona. You see?
That's true.
To be fair, we should have scored. And we should have scored. Lewandowski definitely should have scored in that first leg when Müller played him in, and Lewandowski was basically like 5 yards away from scoring. But he had his mask on, and that's always the excuse that he had his mask on.
You know, the other thing in that game when Ter Stegen actually made that,
I hate that
save
mask
on the goal line as well. But
that's
that thing with Lewandowski with the mask, though, like, imagine he recovers quickly for the second. Like, I'd be so grateful, man. But, you know.
No, I don't.
That's not gonna happen.
He said to Sky Sports that he isn't returning for the second leg, so we're not gonna be playing. We're not gonna be playing with Lewandowski. Neither Gnabry. Hopefully, Goretzka is gonna be back for the second leg, but it's
another triple malting masterclass incoming.
Yeah.
Right, lads, I'm heading off.
Relax.
He's gonna score a hat trick in the second game.
Look.
Only up.
I really want him to do it, to be honest, because people really throw shade at Choupo-Moting, but my goodness.
I think we should play two striker with Choupo-Moting and Bonassar up front. It's really gonna.
No.
Bonassar
can't strike. Can you strike for his life?
Well, lads, I'm heading off now. I'll speak to you all soon.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
All right. Have a nice
going.
evening. Well, night, I guess. Good night. Peace out.
Yeah.
All right. So we talked about Bayern here. Did any of you lot watch the Chelsea game by any chance?
No.
Not really, but I saw the goal Mason Mount scored as a brilliant.
I saw. The first touch was absolutely.
Yeah.
Mason Mount is class.
Yeah, and the other thing is I'm just hearing. Yeah, the other thing is I'm just hearing. You know, Porto like outclassed them, but they couldn't finish their chances. Which, I mean, in my opinion, kind of makes sense just because they didn't have their I think Sergio Oliveira, I think he's their top goal scorer, and they also missed out on Mehdi Taremi because he got a red card against Juventus. So like, you know, I guess in terms of finishing, that might be the reason why. But you know, I can't really tell. I didn't watch the game.
I think Chelsea's going through though. Chelsea's definitely going through. Same with Real.
Yeah.
Chelsea's going through. Real Madrid's going through. Dortmund's going through.
Well, we hope Dortmund go through, but who knows?
Man City, they might go through and get knocked out by another French team like they always do. Knocked out against Monaco, knocked out against Lyon. Maybe this year against Paris Saint-Germain. If they do, you know.
Yeah, that'd be very good.
I just don't want. Yeah, Sané overrated? Yes or no?
Ooh.
I don't think he's
because
overrated.
a lot of people in chat are saying yes, and I disagree.
No.
I don't think he's overrated.
Yeah, I disagree. I don't think he's overrated.
Yeah, I think
he's just
we
been
can't forget.
Injured.
I was gonna. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can't forget. We got him injured.
Yeah, he just came back from a 1-year injury, and then Bayern because Bayern just like straight away played him like back to back, and then he got injured again, right?
Yeah.
And his momentum was stopped, and he had to recover, and then I think he's just unlucky, to be fair, but and inconsistent. But this is still his first season. Maybe next season, if he doesn't perform as good, maybe he could stay. I don't think he's overrated though, in my opinion. I rate Sané a lot.
Yeah,
but I want to see Sané play on the left.
Yeah, I just think that we just need to give him a little bit more time because we can't forget that we did get him injured, and he in general is quite an injury-prone player as well. I mean, many of our wingers are. I mean, to be honest, it's not really anything special about him. But
surprisingly, Coleman isn't getting injured as much as I thought he would be. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Gnabry got injured one time this season, I think. Yeah. Coleman hasn't gotten injured, I think, this season.
And Coman hasn't. And Coman's been quite good for us this season as well. Like, if we give Sané the time, I'm sure he will do very good next season. But For what I can say in his first season, I think you can just say that it could have been worse, but he did what he could. He did better than expected, and I mean, it's like you said, he did play as soon as he came into the team in the season. Like, he played in the UEFA Super Cup. He played against the first match against Schalke. So like
played the game after against Hoffenheim.
Yeah, that too.
Gnabry's levels above Sané. Sané is just lost.
There is this. I don't like this discussion, honestly, because for me, Sané, he's actually quite inconsistent. I must admit that.
Yeah.
Because at Manchester City, I think his first season at Manchester City, he was the player of the league, player of the year in the Premier League season. And then in the second year, he was a sub, I think, if I get my time correct. So
I think
so like he can go from like incredible to like whatever very quickly. But I also don't think that his time line has been fair so far because of the injury.
Yeah, I mean, yes, his injury is dampened his success with Bayern, but I still think he should get like one more season to prove himself. People are so quick to judge that Sané's a flop, Sané's overrated, but he just got back from a 1-year injury. We forced him to play 4 or 5 games, got injured again, and I think he should get one more season to prove his worth.
Yeah, and the point that Bayernfantv touched upon is like saying how Sané, when he started in the Premier League, I think it was his first season in the Premier League where he didn't have a really good season, but it was the next season after he won like a Player of the Year award, essentially, like a Young Player of the Year award. It's the same award I think like Trent Alexander won like last season or something like that. So yeah, I think it's the same thing we've seen it happen at Manchester City. Kind of had a rough start, but I think the next season after he started to excel. So I think the same can happen here at Bayern. Obviously, if given the time, if he recovers properly and whatnot.
Yeah. Cheater Ozis saying he wants to run into the goal literally. So I think Bayern's like Flick is trying to play he's trying to play Sané like as a Robin type of player, but I don't think Sané is that type of player. he instead of cutting inside, he wants to go outside. So that's why I keep suggesting that he should play on the left. Because if you see today's game, he kept going outside instead of cutting inside, which he could have cut it inside like a lot of times, but he kept running outside. And if he was on the left hand side with his stronger foot, maybe he could have shot. But in today's game, he kept forcing to go outside and try to shoot with his left foot, which is like his. He didn't want to shoot with his right foot with it, which is his weaker foot. So I still think that we should play him on the left because I think he would be more comfortable in that situation, in that position, because he did play in that position in City and in Schalke. So I think he should. I think he should play on the left instead of on the right.
Okay, fair enough. Are you interested in doing a player rating on today's game?
Yeah, I'm interested in doing that
because I'm trying to think because we all have different opinions, obviously, on this game. I certainly think the likes of Choupo-Moting were good, whereas other people saying should have scored more, and both of them are obviously valid discussions to have. But I think the best way to look at it would be through a player rating. I think that would probably be the best way to get our thoughts across. So I'm just going to do a player rating, and we're just going to go through all the players, and we're all going to say our thoughts on those players.
I'm happy with Chopo's performance, because we've got to. I'm not saying I'm happy, but he did his best, and we need to know that, and we need to realize that he isn't Lewandowski, and he can't be replicating what Lewandowski's doing, and Chopo is what we got, and with his quality, I think he's done his best, and I'm not I'm not that disappointed in his performance today.
He's a very limited player. I mean, there's nothing too spectacular about him. We got him as a backup, and what we expect is a performance like a backup player. So that's what we got. I mean, it's a good thing he scored. To be honest, I can praise Choupo-Moting just because he's doing a lot better than most strikers that I can think of. So that's what I'm gonna say. But if he's nothing too special.
All right.
He's just scored and that's it.
TNP, welcome to the stream.
Thanks for having
what are
me.
your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the game? Because we obviously haven't asked you that already. Before we hop into a player rating, talking about each player bit by bit, I guess.
Yeah, I'm actually a City fan, so I kind of watch this game to see, because if we go through Dortmund, we're going to play one of you guys. So, so if I was to pick a team to face, I'll probably say PSG, because Bayern are just they're just ruthless. They just keep coming. And we could see it in this game. They had 31 shots or something. And that's just the way they play. They just keep coming and coming and coming. And it's at some point they'll score. And I just don't want them. I just don't want to face that, from a City perspective. Because, And for PSG, this was actually what I was expecting PSG to do last season. Mbappe just kind of running behind the high line and Neymar finding him. But obviously they both just had a really bad game in the final. But today they had a better game. I know Mbappe wasn't really at his best, but the chances he got, he finished them. And Neymar, was good. Neymar was doing his Neymar things. So I think PSG pretty much played the game they were supposed to play. It's just get behind the high line. And I know you were saying it PSG, Bayern, as bad defensively as I've seen them this season. Because every time I've watched them this season, they just concede chances after chances after chances. That wasn't really the case in this game, but the chances they did concede, PSG took them. And Mbappe took them, obviously. So, overall, I'll be pretty happy if PSG go through.
We could have conceded more in this game. We gave the ball a couple of times to the PSG in our own half, and we could have easily conceded more. But PSG, I'm not saying they were clinical, but they definitely could have scored more than just 3.
Yeah, they have a couple of chances.
So let's
talk about Sané.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah. So like, talking about Sané, like this, I know he's had an injury, but like from what I've seen from Bayern fans on Twitter and stuff, it's pretty much having like the same thing that he was at City. He was just really inconsistent. And that was like the reason, like in his last season. No, not his last season, like his last fifth season, because his last season was he was injured throughout the season. But in his last fifth season, when he was a sub, basically, like Pep just couldn't trust him to like deliver every week because he was just like really inconsistent. And I really like Sané as a player because like at his best, like at his like full best, he's just like really unplayable. But like the thing is that you get like a really good game from him, and then the next game, it's like he can't even like chop a ball, and you're like wow, how is he a starter? So yeah, just like his inconsistencies just like gets really annoying, and at some point Pep couldn't trust him, and over like Sterling and Bernardo Silva, we were just like delivering every week. So yeah, the thing with Sané is like he always has like slow starts to the season. Like when he first came, his first season, like first half of the season was just like completely out of it. Like he wasn't even in the team. But then second half, like he started to get into his own. And then the next season, he pretty much like showed what he can. That was when he won the Young Player of the Year award. And then he really showed like his full potential and like what he can do. But then the season after, he had a slow start. And that was a season where we were like really neck and neck with Liverpool. And he just like couldn't like deliver the consistency. And then he was just like out for a sub. So yeah, for Sane, I think he just needs to get more consistent time. And I'll say he should play him on the left side because like it's better for him to get the ball like on his stride rather than to his feet and like kind of dribble because it's not really like cutting inside is not really like his game. So yeah, maybe
Yeah.
playing on the left would probably be better for him.
I definitely agree. With you.
Okay, fair enough. Cool. Let's talk about the players then. I'll go last with all of these. But let's start with the Bayern players. I don't know if we'll get to the PSG players. I'm not sure. But let's start with Neuer. What did everyone think of Neuer's performance? What would you rate him out of 10? I don't know.
Besides
Bayern
mistake.
fanboy?
Besides the mistake and Mbappe, I'll probably give him a 6 or a 5 or a 7. I don't know. I mean, like if we're we're talking about the whole game because of that Mbappe mistake or the Neuer mistake against Mbappe's first goal, I'd give him like a 6. Or, 6 or a 5.
I was gonna say like something like a 5 or a 6, but I mean, he didn't really do much wrong apart from the mistake, obviously. But like, it didn't really have much to do either. So
it's a 5 or a 6 for me.
Yeah, I mean, I very much agree with all of you. Then, I probably 5, I guess. That's what I would give him. Some people in chat are saying 5, and then you have Muha who says 6. So people very much agree with what we said too, just 5 to 6. So that's understandable then. Next up, our right back in Pavard. What would you rate Pavard 10?
He won a lot of fouls for us this game. Defensively, it was solid, but not the best. Like offensively, crosses. He made 1 assist right for Chopo. Was that? Yeah, that was Pavard. So probably give him a 6, I think, or a 7. Yeah, probably a 7.
Yeah, I pretty much agree. Like 6.5. I mean, I'm not like the biggest fan of Pavard, but like.
But today, he made an assist. Defensively solid.
Yeah.
Not the best defensively, but did won a lot of fouls for us, and also won the foul that eventually gave us a second goal. So I'll probably give him a 7.
I think offensively was more of a threat than Sané today. So on that side, so I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, probably a 7.
I'm gonna be the only one here then that's gonna give him an 8. I thought it was excellent. The thing that I liked about him the most wasn't even his goal contribution with the assist to Choupo-Moting, but rather it was how quickly he switched from being the offensive fullback to being the defensive fullback once Davis comes on, because obviously we play with I mentioned this before, but we play with an asymmetrical fullback system where one fullback is the more attacking one and the other one is the more defensive one. And at the beginning of the game, Pavard was the offensive one when he got the assist, and then he immediately switched to being the defensive one, and I thought that was very well from him. Besides that, I thought he had a great game as well, so that's what I personally would give him an 8. But it seems like most people would give him a 7 in chat, alongside obviously you two.
And he also, obviously almost scored the goal, the volley, and I probably I agree. Probably, yeah, the volley. I don't know what's Pavard's with volley. Probably he has some weird obsession. So probably give him a I agree, 7 or 8.
Okay. Next up, first, I'm not sure I'm going to do this. We'll do the substitutions after, so I'm going to do with like the starting lineup. So Niklas Süle, what would you give him out of 10?
I don't think.
Before we can I just say good night to you, Peter Zavada. Have a nice evening and bye. Sorry.
I don't think Süle had the best performances in that game. Probably not the best. I'll probably give him a 4. I'll probably give him a 4. 4, I'm being generous. Could have been it could be lower, but personally, I'm giving him a 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 3 the way AM said. Yeah, he wasn't good. Just say that.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna very much agree too here. 3 for me, he gets a 3. There's one chance that Mbappe had very early in the game where Süle was trying to chase him, and that's a bad mistake because you're not gonna catch up to Mbappe. Like you need to be one step. You need to be anticipating it. And for me, when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, that's rough. That's rough." So yeah, for me, he gets a 3. So the next centre back would be Alaba. What did you all think of Alaba, who obviously started as a centre back and then later on moved into midfield once we started playing with 3 at the back?
Yeah,
Alaba was pretty fine.
Yeah, Alaba was good. Good at center. Good center. At center back, he played okay, but I think he played well moving to the midfield role. Probably give him a 6 or a 7.
Yeah, I'm just gonna give him a flat 6 because I think it was solid. Like it was, even when he moved into midfield, he was like
everyone in chat is saying that Alaba 2, Alaba 3. Come on, I don't think he actually played good.
Yeah, I was trying, especially when he moved into midfield, he was trying.
Yes, defensively he wasn't the best, but when he moved to the midfield role, I think he performed. Probably give him a 5 or a 6.
This is why I like having people on here. Like I need to do more of these streams a lot more, even with my terrible internet, because Alaba, as always, as I expected, people are very divisive on him because obviously he's leaving. And so forth. So people really dislike him because he's Flick's favorite. But I will say this: I would probably give him a 5. Like I wouldn't go as high as you lot did, and I wouldn't go as low as Chat is doing. Because I think when he switched to midfield, I think he did really well. But I think he should have scored. I think he should have scored. I definitely think he should have scored. But defensively, he wasn't that great, but as like in midfield itself,
the shot he took, I feel like it ricocheted off the PSG player.
Not sure, but I mean, again, I would give him a 5 regardless, because I didn't defensively was that great, but in terms of just his midfield presence and his overall control of the game, which I'll be honest, I must admit, I'm been wrong today. I always say that I don't think he's that great in midfield. Today, he did well. I can't complain his performance in midfield. So for me, as I say, I give him a 5. Just a very 5 would be like a meh performance, not a great, not a good, not an okay one, not a bad one, but just a meh. Best way to sum it up. Left back. Left back, it's a very tricky one because everyone is not gonna rate him high because obviously we could have played Davies instead of Lucas, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think, in my opinion, Lucas was actually solid defensively. Might not agree. People might not agree with that statement, but Personally, I think Lucas was actually one of the standout like defensive player in that game, and from our side. Well, a lot of people will say like, "Oh, why did we start Lucas at left back? We should have started Davies." Yeah, we should have started Davies, but I think defensively Lucas was really solid, so I'll probably give him a 7.
I'm gonna go for 6. Cause like, yeah, when he was at left back, he didn't really impact the game much. And then when he like dropped back, I mean, he didn't do much. So yeah, I guess like a 5 or 6.
Okay. One last thing before I talk about Lucas, I just want to say that, while doing my discussion for Alaba, that during the second goal that Marquinhos scored, he was the only one that ran back and tried to, win the ball off Marquinhos, whereas everyone fell asleep. So I do want to highlight that as well. I know it's not a massive thing because ultimately we did still concede, but he was still the only player that tried to at least win the ball back at the end there. So if that counts for something, I don't know. But in terms of Lucas Hernandez, it's difficult. I would give him I don't even know. What would Lucas Hernandez is a mystery to me, honestly, because like defensively he's good, but like when he played as a left back, he was ineffective, completely ineffective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I have to rate that as well, because as a fullback, you're obviously asked to attack as well, even if it's not a lot, but you're still asked to attack. So I would probably give him a 7.
Yeah, same. I agree. Moving on to the midfield.
Kimchi.
Yeah.
Kimmich was great.
It looked like Kimmich was trying to frustrate Neymar. It did look like that because he tackled Neymar a couple of times. Got a yellow card, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I think Kimmich played really well. He got the assist for the Muller goal. Played really good long balls. Was creative in the midfield. So
yeah, he was the main creative threat. So I'll give him an 8.
Kimmich, I'd give Kimmich an 8 as well.
Okay. Well, I'll give Kimmich did good, but there's one. I know I'm just highlighting one moment, but there's one moment where he wins the ball in the box, tries to play it out to I think it was Sané.
Yeah, he tried it. Yeah, I remember.
And just gives it back to he gives it back to Draxler. But granted, it's Draxler, so Draxler just skies the shot. But like if that's any other player, you're giving the ball away in a very dangerous area. So it's one mistake, granted.
And there's also one when we were in their box and Kimmich tried to chip the goalkeeper or something.
Oh yeah, that I was like, bro, come on.
That was it. Yeah, that wasn't the best of decisions by Kimmich. 7 or 8.
I thought our goals would come from 2 places, either Müller or Kimmich, and it was telling that Kimmich combined with Müller for the second goal. So those are the only 2 places I thought the goals would come from. I would give him a 7, and that kind of hurts me to say because Kimmich is the one player that there are 2 players in this team that I actually like, and those are Kimmich and Müller because of their consistency. But I have to give Kimmich a 7 if I'm being completely honest. Now the other one was obviously Goretzka, who I think only played 30 minutes or so. But what would you give
Goretzka? Goretzka would have scored if he played longer. In my opinion, he would have scored. He got a couple of good chances. He headed one from the set piece. Got a really, really, really good save from Navas. If he played 60 or probably if he played 40 or 50 more minutes, in my opinion, Goretzka would have scored. But obviously the muscle injury didn't help. So with the amount of minutes he played, I would give him a 7 or a 6. He played well, in my opinion. Pressed. He really pressed well, and his work rate was good, in my opinion. Really gave offensive threats, and I think overall Goretzka put on a very good performance, but just unfortunate that he got out early.
I mean, I don't really know what to say about Goretzka because he went out early, but I guess he did fine. I
genuinely thought he would have scored that game, but
yeah, I probably would have because he always scores.
My thing is, for the short time that Goretzka did play, he had that one chance that he really should have scored. Like there was this one chance that he really should have scored, and obviously now that comes back to haunt us. So just for that, I'm going to be honest. I have to give him a 5.
Okay.
It sounds harsh,
That's
but it is what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to Cam Muller.
Next up, Sané.
Oh, Sané. I'll give him a 4 or 5. Sure. I have nothing to say. He was just it looked like he only had one foot. Like he keeps trying to put it on his left foot, force his left foot to do everything.
He's allergic to his right foot. I don't.
Yeah, it's like
I don't know why.
he didn't even try to use his right foot. And
Yeah, there was that one
definitely-
chance like he ran into the box and then instead of him to shoot, like he just like crossed it back.
Yeah.
It's like
I give him a 5
he was really ineffective.
or a 4. I'll give him a 4.
I think you lot are being extremely generous. like if people are giving him a 5, I'd give him a 1. I think he was atrocious today. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I give him a 4.
I think you lot are being generous. I'm going to be honest. Maybe I'm being too critical, but
I like Sané, man. I can't.
I like him too. I before this, like in like the first game, from like when the season started, I predicted him to get like 30 goals this season. Like I was like, okay, he's gonna have an amazing season.
Judging, I wasn't expecting Schalke to be that, bad. So like judging from that first game, Sané got 2 assists and 1 goal. No, 2 assists and 1 goal. I thought Sané would have been like, that Sané would have been like world class for us first season, and disappointing. I'll give him a 4. One is crazy.
One is too much.
Yeah,
one is like Trent's performance yesterday.
Yeah,
that's what this was. Just the attacking version of it. So next one obviously would be Thomas Muller. What would you give Thomas
I'll give him
Muller?
an 8 or a 9. Thomas Muller was great.
8. It was like
8 or 9. And the goal was the shit. Well, he did miss the first. He missed a chance early on the game. Could have scored, but then the shot wasn't the best. So I'll give him an 8.
Yeah, I agree. I'll give him an 8. I think he was the best attacking player for Bayern.
Yeah, I very much agree with that as well. Besides, maybe I'd give him like an 8.5 because the thing with Müller is that like he created a lot, but he also had 1 or 2 chances that he really should have scored. I think in the first half, especially when like the chip ball comes in and Müller gets to it, but he just kicks it straight at Navas. He really should be scoring that. And I know he scored a goal later on, so I'm trying to like balance that on like the scale. But I would probably give Müller like a 8.5 overall for his game contribution. But I also think that if he had scored that chance in the first half, I would have probably given him a 9, something like that.
Yeah. Right,
next one would be Kingsley Coman.
Yeah, again, not our wingers was bad this game. Kingsley Coman just couldn't cross. The cross kept getting blocked. I don't know. I'll probably give him a 5 or a 4. Nah, if Sané's getting a 4, I think. I think Sané's getting a 3 and Coman's getting a 4.
I'll give Coman a 5 because, like, to be honest, I expected better from him. Like, who was the PSG's right back? Was it Diallo or something?
That was just
Dakba. Yeah, I think he should have ate him up. Like, that guy's not. I mean, it's not great, but so I'll give Coman like a 5. Should have done better.
I very much agree with this comment here that says Coman 6. I would give Coman a 6 because I think he actually beat Dakba. I think every time like him and Dakba went up against each other, that Coman beat him. But I felt like today was one of those issues that I've had with Coman in the past season.
Yeah,
he hasn't had this season, which is that like he beats his man, but then he
the finishing.
Yeah, exactly.
Touch.
Then the final ball is
I agree with you. He does all the hard work, and when it comes to the finishing or like the cross, just doesn't deliver.
Yeah, that's my take for Coman. I don't remember the sitter. If he missed like an gilt-edged chance, then I'd blow it down to 5.5, I guess. But like for me, his overall game was a 6 out of 10. Is what I would
Oh yeah, when
give
Muller
Coleman,
crossed,
honestly.
Coleman got a bad first touch and yeah. So last but not least, Choupo-Moting.
Choupo-Moting.
I'll give him a 5 or 6. He wasn't that bad. People are trying to say that he was awful and that, but in my opinion, I don't think I think he performed like to his best of his abilities because he's not the best, but I think he did what he had to do as a backup striker. Obviously, he's not Lewandowski, and I'll give him a 5 or a 6.
To be honest, I'll give him a 7. I mean, he scored and like he tried, like, and I think he did like pretty much what he said. I think he did the best he could, and he tried. Like he had his chances, and he was like being a threat, and he got his goal. So I think he pretty much gave a striker's performance. So 7.
I agree. Do I? Yeah, I'm seeing this now, a 7.5 to 8. I'm like, ooh, would I? No, I don't think so.
I'd give him a 6
For me,
or a 7.
I'd give him a 7. He scored a goal. He could have scored more, but like you can't say that about every player, and that's the unfortunate truth. Usually, it's only 1 or 2 players that that miss their chances, and everyone scores. Today, it was everyone that missed chances, but just because of that goal and how vital that now is, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, it's not just Choupo that missed chances, but people are trying to say that
compare him to Lewandowski.
Yeah, and people are going to keep
misses chances.
People are going to keep blaming Choupo for that, but it's not just Choupo that missed chances. It's almost the whole team. Alaba missed one, Goretzka, Coleman, Muller, but people, like they'll just say, "Oh, Choupo's awful." If Leva was there, I mean, true. If Levy was there, we would, in my opinion, be winning. And if not even Levy, if Gnabry was there, I think he would have finished his chances. But if Gnabry was there, I'll put him on for Sane or Coleman, not for Choupo. I think Choupo did well, in my opinion.
Yep. Let's get to the substitutions, and then we might go to the PSG player. So the substitutions, let's start with the first one that came in for Goretzka, Alphonso Davies, who came in the 33rd minute.
My opinion, we really needed him. He's like a flair player that can, fasten the attack and faster the attack. So I think I give him a solid 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 6 because I don't think although he did come on and play well, I don't think he was that impactful.
I might even give him a 7 or an 8. In my opinion, Davies played really well.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
I'm thinking because Davies is a hard one. Davies is a tough one because I didn't think he did anything wrong. I didn't think he at any moment in the game where he did something wrong. I thought like his touches were good, his passes were smart, but I didn't think he offered enough to give him anything above like a 7. I know people are giving him an 8, but I don't think like Davies. I thought he had a good game. I didn't think he had good moments. I think that's probably a good way to describe it. He had an overall very good game, but he didn't have a good moment, like a key moment in this game.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's probably the best way I would describe him. Next up, we have Boateng, who came on for Schurrle in the 40th minute.
So I gave Schurrle like a 4. I give Boateng a 4 as well. I think Boateng, in my opinion, no, he didn't perform as bad as Schurrle in my opinion, but obviously he got bum raped by Mbappe in the 3rd goal, and obviously he could have defended better, but I don't think he was that bad compared to Schurrle's performance in the first 30 minutes. So I'd give him a solid 4 or 5.
I'm gonna go with a 5. I mean, it was just like a meh. Like it didn't do anything.
It's difficult because I'm in the minority. I can tell already. But I actually thought he had a good game. I just think for the 3rd goal he was terrible. So like I'm trying to weigh those two up because I thought besides that, every time PSG tried to play forward, it was Boateng that stopped that counter.
That's the thing. Like one mistake can highlight your whole performance in a game. You know.
Exactly.
That's true.
Because like Boateng had a lot of good through balls as well. In my opinion, he changed up the play, from left to right, right to left, like really well. So I'll give him like a 5 or a 4. Overall, it's probably because of that mistake. You know, it's in the back of my head. And the third goal, he didn't. Boateng was talking shit. Everything. I don't think he was that bad in my opinion.
I give him a
That's
4. I give him a
I'll give
5.
him 5.
I'll leave it at 5.
Yeah. All right. Sure.
Then I do want to ask one more. Well, 2 more actually. The first one is Flick. What would you give Flick?
I'll give him a.
Actually, before you give him anything, no, just like we get a good picture of it all. So notable things he's done in this game. Obviously, the lineup, which the key thing here was Lucas Hernandez instead of Davis. The second thing is the substitutions, which he was forced into with Goretzka and Schurrle both getting injured. But you can obviously question him bringing those players on. The third thing is perhaps not doing the third substitution, which many people in chat seem to believe Musiala should have come on. The fourth thing is the formation, because we did change formation from a back 4, 4-2-3-1 that we're very much familiar with, to a free. Honestly, more to like a 3-3-3. 3-4-3. That's 9, but more to like a 3-3-3-1. We really changed that, with Alaba moving into midfield and Miller dropping a bit deeper. What would you give Flick based on all these things today?
Flick, I don't think he first of all, the first mistake, he didn't start Davies. Could have abused that young guy who's on the right back position for it. Yeah, that guy. Bayern should have capitalized from Florenzi being out, no experience at that right hand side. Should have put Davies. Abused that left hand side, but obviously he started Lucas. Then wasn't that good. It wasn't the best decisions, but Goretzka being out, I think bringing on Davies for Goretzka was actually a good substitution because he puts Alaba on center mid, which can cover for Davies's attack, because Davies basically played left mid because of the change of formation, and Alaba really covers up for that for how high Davies goes. So I think that was good. Schurrle for Boateng was obviously forced as well because she was muscular injury. So overall, I'd give him a 5 or 6.
This is my thing with Flick, like he pays no respect to the opposition. I feel like you can't just go every game just saying, "Oh, I'm gonna outscore you. Like my attackers are better than yours." It's like you should have probably been more respectful of PSG's counterattacks. And Bayern also isn't really conceding from counterattacks. That's the one obvious weakness from them. And just the fact he didn't play Davies, it's almost like he didn't even think that Mbappe has pace, and Mbappe was going to obviously run him behind.
At the end of the day, it wasn't a Flick's fault that we didn't finish our chances.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess Bayern always create chances. So yeah, I guess I'll give him a 5. At least he reacted well. After he saw obviously the injuries to Goretzka and stuff, but I think he reacted well, and the 3 at the back, I think it worked to some extent because I think Bayern controlled the game. PSG weren't really in it that much. They just had that one chance with the third goal, but I think the change to the back 3 works. And
here's a weird thing. This is so unlike Bayern because Bayern is known as to be this clinical team that just finish your chances.
Yeah.
This game, it's the complete opposite. So, and it's not Flick's fault that we didn't finish our chances. So, I'll give him a 6.
Okay.
Bayernfantv.
Okay. As the resident Flick, I've been called a Flick hater, but I'm not. I don't hate him, all right? People always think I hate him because I criticize him. That's not the case, all right? But as the resident Flick criticizer, let's call it that, today we lost because of our defense. And our attack. Now, our attack, I can understand. I'm not too. I won't be critical at that point because our attack, we had the chances to win the game, we had a chance to score more, and at the end of the day, Lewandowski, who is responsible for about 50% or 60% of our goals, wasn't healthy. Gnabry, who's also very great at getting goals in these pivotal and important games, also wasn't available, and the players, they missed a lot of sitters. So I'm not going to judge them for that. What I can judge them on is defense. And the big thing about this season is that we've conceded in every single game. It feels like that, at least. With the last 2 games, granted, we didn't concede. But besides that, this season, there were only 3 or 4 other games where we haven't conceded a goal. Those were against the likes of Schalke, who are bottom of the league with 1 victory all season. Atletico Madrid, who don't know how to attack. So we have been terrible as a collective defensively, and I don't judge them for players playing poor. I never would judge a manager for players playing poor. I always judge how the whole structure is, whether our midfield is poor, whether our defense is poor, whether our attack is poor. You could say our attack was poor today, and that is on Flick. Perhaps I don't disagree, because I also think that the players, with the amount of chances that he had, if we didn't create chances, I would have said that. But we did create chances, and those chances should be taken. So that's on the players. But our defense, as a collective, is the part where I am critical of Flick, and I'm more so critical of Flick today than I would have been if this was a one-off game. But because this has been a consistent pattern for the whole entire season, I'm going to give Flick a 3.
Fair enough. I mean, I understand from your point of view why you think that, but obviously, the big taking point of this game is, the chances we didn't finish, and it's out of Flick's control. The players not finishing, and that's hence why I give him a 6. But the substitution, I mean, him not starting Davies was obviously a minor red flag, and it's a major red flag for not starting Davies, and for subbing on. I don't know. He had 3 more subs, but he only He only played Boateng and Davies, right, from the sub.
Yeah, Boateng and Davies.
Yeah, could have played Musiala, maybe, but then
maybe taking Sane off.
Yeah, but that's what Flick didn't do anything about it, and that's why I'll give him a 5 or a 6.
And people are saying that I'm a bit harsh, but the thing is, if this was just a one-off game, again, I wouldn't have been that critical. But because this has been a repeating pattern, and also, if you can't tell with Sane criticism, with my Sane rating, I use the full spectrum of the rating scale, from 1 to 10. It's not just people always think it's from 5 to 10, but I'm using the whole scale from 1 to 10, where 1 is just okay. Well, 1 would be more like meh. Then okay would be more like 6. That's why my ratings may seem a little bit more critical than would necessarily be necessary, I guess. So let's talk about PSG then. Let's start with Navas, their goalkeeper. What did you think of him?
Navas probably gets a 9. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I agree. But I'm sorry to disturb you guys, but I'm gonna go. All right.
Okay. No worries. Have a nice evening. So sorry, what did you give Navas, a 9?
Yeah, I was gonna give him a 9. I think it was great, and that's just Navas. He pretty much saves the whole defense every game, and it's so yeah, 9. And even after Marquinhos left, and then they were looking a lot more shaky, but so Navas was the only guy stepping up and actually saving them.
Okay. I mean, my thought for this was the easiest one to make. But it's a 10. For me, he gets a 10. Straight up, He was, in my opinion, the best player on the field. So well done, Navas.
Give him a 10 if he didn't concede.
I mean, yeah, but that's fair. But the way I look at it is was he at fault for any of these goals? Could he have realistically saved us? And I don't think that is the case. That's why he gets a 10 for me. Like if like one of those goals were, say, the one that Neuer conceded, Neuer should have done better there. Like if he conceded a goal like that, I would have said maybe 9 or maybe an 8, but like he didn't, and so for me he gets a 10. Also, just want to say, Air Fox Aurus, good night, peace out, and sleep well. He's a Bayern nightmare since Real Madrid. I kind of agree with you. If I'm being completely honest, Navas the best goalkeeper in the world when he plays in the Champions League. Honestly, it feels like that because every time we play against him, it just doesn't go well. He just suddenly turns into Neuer. And Neuer today, yeah, he's a very good goalkeeper. Very good goalkeeper. So next up, Dagba, the right back for PSG.
I don't even pay attention to him. Didn't he get subbed off like after?
No.
Because I know
No.
Becker came. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Becker came for Diallo, the left back.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'll give him a 5.
So for me, Dagba gets a. If I'm being completely honest, again, I said this earlier, but I think Coleman actually had him on toast. It's just that Coleman didn't do anything after that. So, like, I would give him probably a 6. And that's I think I'm being a little bit generous.
Yeah, it might be a bit too generous.
Yeah, I think realistically like a 5, honestly. And even then, I'm not sure if I'm being too generous here. But I think a 5. I'll give him a 4.5 because I thought like he didn't stop Coleman once. But the thing is that Coleman just turned into Coleman today, unfortunately. So that's a shame, but it is what it is. Some people are saying Dagba 7, and other people are saying Dagba 0. Well, we've got Marquinhos next, who scored the goal, but then also went off injured very early on.
Yeah, but even before the injury, he was playing really well. I'll give him like an 8. And you can see like his presence like felt when he left. If he was still on the pitch, I think maybe he would have dealt with that Choupo-Moting goal. Like it would have probably been like at the right spot to head it away.
Yep.
So I think Marquinhos gets an 8.
Yeah, I mean, I very much agree with you. For me, when he went off, I hate saying this because I don't like cheering people going off, but when he went off, I thought, okay, now PSG are really in trouble. Granted, we saw how the game went, but to me, the way he played was just phenomenal. So for me, he gets an 8, if I'm being completely honest. Marquinhos was very, very good, in my opinion. Next up, we've got Kimpembe.
I didn't think Kimpembe had his best game, to be honest, but like I think it was still fine. It was still pretty solid. I guess I'll give him like a 6.5-ish around that.
I'll be a little bit more generous than you then, and I'll give him a 7. He had a solid game. I mean, it's just like you said, he wasn't like a star or anything, but he wasn't necessarily bad. He just had a very solid game. No real faults and no real highlights, I guess. Next up, Diallo, who played as the left back and was up against Sané.
I wish you can say like he kept Sané quiet, but I guess that's just more of like Sané not being at his best. But so I guess it was okay. He was fine. Give him like a 5.
Yep, I was just about to say that. I'll give him a 5 because when Sané took him on, Sané beat him. It's just that Sané didn't do anything after that. And it's very frustrating because Sané is usually someone that has a lot of drive to go forward to try and score. And that was not the case in this game. He beat his man, but he didn't do much beyond that. So for me, he gets a 5. Next up, Guaye. Also, before we start, Muha, have a good time. See you guys. Well, peace out. Have a, I don't know, good night or good day. I don't know your time zone. But yeah, peace out and have a good day, I guess. Sorry, Guaye. What do you think of Guaye?
Oh yeah, I think it was pretty solid though. Like I was not expecting him to be like as good because he was like usually I was expecting I was gonna be like a trouble area, but I think he did pretty well. I know he didn't contain like Thomas Müller a lot, but yeah, I think for what you expect from Gay, like it was a pretty solid performance from him.
Okay. I disagree. I disagree. I think Kimmich and in first of all Kimmich and Goretzka, I guess, but Goretzka then went off. I thought they had him on toast, if I'm being completely honest. I thought we had the complete midfield control, and he's a big reason for that. So for me, he gets a 4. Next up, Danilo.
Danilo wasn't. I guess he had like kind of a similar performance to Gay. Even when he dropped back to defense, he wasn't like really helping things either. So I give him like a 4 or 5.
Yep, very similar for me. The exact same score as Gay. He gets a 4. Neymar. Actually, no. We start from the right. So Di Maria.
Oh, Di Maria, I thought was pretty good. Not his best game, but like I thought like it was like pretty decent. I'll give him like a 7. I think
That's it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't even realize Di Maria was playing. like I didn't realize he was playing until they scored a goal, and then I saw him celebrate. I was like, wait, you're on the pitch? So I'm gonna be honest. I'm giving him a 4. Like I did not see him on the pitch at all until like they started celebrating. I'm like, wait, you're a thing? Oh, okay. Draxler.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he could have had that goal with the off cycle that was like really close, but I guess that's just Draxler. Like he doesn't really do anything. Like he's just there. Like he can have some touches on the ball. Like yeah, I don't think he was like much of a threat really. He was just kind of there to like press and like win the ball. So it's a meh, like a 5 or 4.
Okay. I've got a personal bias against Draxler. So
yeah, I know.
when that goal that he scored was offside, which I knew it was offside, but the second I saw the pass, honestly, but it turned out to be a lot closer than I had thought. But I've got a personal bias against Draxler, so I'll just not say anything and just give a rating of 3. Neymar.
Yeah, Neymar was great. I mean, I think Pochettino like subbed him off because he was getting a bit like on edge. But I think he was great. Like he created both goals. He was always a threat, and I'll give him like a 9, actually 8.5. Bring it down because he didn't play the full 90 minutes. So like a 8.5.
All right, I'll give him a 9. Neymar, I thought the most impressive thing for me wasn't how he played, but rather how he kept himself composed. And I think that for a player like him, who very much gets agitated once he gets fouled a few times, to still stay composed says a lot about him. And I thought he had an excellent game. For me, he gets a 9. Just simple. Next up, Mbappe.
I mean, you can't really say much. Like he scored 2 goals. He scored the winner. So, guess a 9. I guess. I mean, I don't even think like this was even like a good game from Mbappe. But he got his chances, like he scored his chances, so you can't really fault him for that. So it's a 9.
Yeah, I very much agree with you. There was a lot of things that Mbappe did wrong. Whereas I felt like with Neymar, I thought like he did everything right, but obviously Mbappe got the goals and Neymar didn't. So like for me, Mbappe gets the same score as Neymar just because he got the goals, and obviously those will be pivotal. So for me, he gets a 9.
Yeah.
Then the substitutions, Ander Herrera, who came on for Marquinhos.
Oh, and I think he did better than Danilo in midfield. I kind of like Ander Herrera because he just like he runs really hard. That's like kind of the only thing he's good at. But like, I don't know. I guess like a simple 5 or 6 for him.
Yeah. I was gonna give him a 6. Didn't think there was too much wrong with him, but there wasn't like anything too right with him in that scenario. In that case, so for me, he just gets a 6. Bakker, who came on for Diallo in the second half.
I think he did it better than with handling Sane than Diallo did. So Oh, I don't know. But then they didn't really do much else. So it's like a lot of these PSG players didn't really do much. Like they just kind of like sat back and like absorbed all the pressure and stuff. But like, yeah, but I could guess a 5.
I forgot what I gave Diallo. But whatever I gave Diallo, I'll give to Baka. I think I gave Diallo a 4, so I'll give Baka a 4 as well. Which is very harsh considering they won the game. I'm being very harsh, honestly.
But did he play that well though?
Yeah. But I mean, just that win factor is almost like a you know, it kind of like raises your mark automatically by a few points. But I'm not like that. My scores are not like that. Who else did come in?
Moise Kean. Yeah, I thought Moise Kean was really good. I was actually expecting him to start because I thought like he would hold up the play and like they can just get the counter. But I thought it was really good. There was that one chance I can't remember which Bayern player it was, where just like kind of bodied the guy off the ball and just took the ball. I was like, yes, that's my Kean. So I'll give him like a 7. Might be too generous. Maybe a 6.5.
Okay. The thing that you're talking about was against Davis, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Me, Moise Kean. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think he did too much. I know you're like, you gave him a 6.5, and I think that's actually very much fair. I think that's a fair score to give him because I felt like he was in the game, and I also expected him to start. I'm being completely honest. I felt he was in the game, but I didn't think he was necessarily in the game.
Yeah, like impactful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Last but not least, Rafinha, who came in from Neymar in the 90th minute. He came in the 90th minute, so it's not like
I forgot he came on. He gets some like an NA.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can give him a no score, so NA is totally applicable here. Although I guess NA not applicable wouldn't be applicable, but it doesn't matter. we get into technicals. Pochettino.
I don't even know because he didn't really like dominate the game. Like the only way I can rate a manager of how well they did in a game is how much they limit the chances, you know. But he didn't really limit Bayern's chances. They still like had like a ton of chances and they just didn't convert them. So I can't really say, oh, this was a Pochettino masterclass because it wasn't. But I mean, they got the win and they countered. Like I guess you can give him the credit for identifying Bayern's weakness on a counter. But then again, it was fine. I'll give him like a 6.
Okay. I'll give him a 7 simply because he won. He won. And yes, they could have definitely conceded more, but at the end of the day, they had a plan. In at least attacking wise, and that was successful. So for that, I'll give them a 7. If they had conceded more, that's 7. If they had conceded 2 more goals, for example, then that 7 would have easily turned into a 3. But just because they won, and just because they didn't concede, they scored 3 away goals, I'm giving him a 7.
I mean, it's a great result for them.
Yeah, exactly. 3 away goals. I mean, that's going to be quite difficult, but I think it's still very manageable and very possible, if I'm being completely honest. Last but not least, the referee.
Oh, I don't really like rating referees because it's like whatever. I mean, I guess he did his job. 6. I mean, there wasn't really any controversial decisions though. I guess there wasn't. I guess that handball call and stuff. I don't really think it was a handball, to be honest. But I guess a 6.
So I would have given the referee a 4 because I think it was a handball. But I'm gonna do one tiny little thing. Before I put my 4 down definitive, I'm gonna have a very quick look at Colinas Erben, who is basically who are basically like referees, who are a bit referees on Twitter that basically judge situations, I guess, if the best way to describe it, but and see what they have to say about it. But they haven't said anything about it which which means that it probably wasn't a decisive decision.
Wait, Matthew Lahos was the best movie, right?
Yeah,
that Spanish guy. Yeah, I hate him. Give him a 2. I don't like that guy. Just simply because I don't like him.
Well, I'm gonna give him a 6. I was gonna give him a 4 because I thought it was a handball, especially with like the new handball rule that was made, where even if you're in an unnatural position while you're falling, as long as you're touching as long as you're touching it with your hand, it counts as a handball. And it very much reminded me of the Alaba handball from 2012 against Madrid, for which he got suspended for the final. But you know what? I'm not going to complain too much, because at the end of the day, we should have scored our chances and we didn't, and that's what caused us to lose. So for me, he gets a 6. So that's all the player ratings. I think I'm actually going to call it a day here, just because I've not eaten, and it's now 1 a.m. for me, so I do want to get some food.
Oh.
Thank you very much for joining me on this stream. I know you're not you're a Manchester City fan. What did you think about your performance yesterday, if you don't mind asking?
I didn't really like it. I didn't think it was a good performance, because it was like, I know we won, but I was kind of expecting more of a matured performance. I mean, Dortmund didn't even look like they were taking a game seriously. They started some Knopf kid I never even heard of. So it's like, I was expecting us to like go out and play like the big boys and actually like play well, but it wasn't a good performance. Like, we played really timid. Like, we were not scared. If it wasn't for De Bruyne and Foden just like being really good, we probably would have lost that game. And it was like, so I was expecting a better performance, but we won, so I can't complain.
Okay, nice. Well, I'll wish you good luck for the next game. And I'm gonna say goodbye to everyone that's listening. Thank you all for watching or listening. I guess, I don't know whichever format you prefer. I will see you all in the next one. As always, until then, peace out. I don't know whether you wanna promote any of your social networks. I don't know. If you can, if you want to, you can right now. If not, bye.
Follow me on Instagram. It's Made by Divine. I post like designs and stuff. So
there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. I'll see all of you, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, in the next one. Until then, have a nice day. And as always, peace out.
bye.
Bye.